Okay, good morning, everyone. Mr. Secretary, can you take roll?
Good morning. Grace Aaron?
Here.
Grace Aaron, present. Ken Aaron, excused absence?
No. He's requesting an excuse absence.
Requesting excused absence. Jonathan Alexander, requesting excused absence. Marlena Bond?
Here.
Sandy Childs?
Here.
Sandy Childs, present. Roberta Eidman?
Present.
Roberta Eidman, present. Stephen Franz, requesting excused absence. Jamie Gomez?
Here.
Jamie Gomez, present. Jan Goodman?
Present.
Jan Goodman, present. Ricardo Hernandez?
Present.
Ricardo Hernandez, present. Stephen Kaiser?
Here.
Stephen Kaiser, present. Doug Kriegel? Doug Kriegel?
He's coming.
Maggie Lepeque, requesting excused absence. Alexa and Barbara Marbach are also both requesting excused absence. Ishmael Para?
Here.
Ishmael Para, present. Reza Poor?
On his way. Stuck in traffic.
Dorothy Reich, requesting excused absence. Mila Reason, sorry.
I'm here.
Mila Reason, present. Lawrence Reyes?
Present.
Lawrence Reyes, present. Mansour Sabah, requesting excused absence. Lance Simmons?
Here.
Lance Simmons, present. Fernando Velasquez?
Presente.
Fernando Velasquez, present. Lisa Wong?
Here.
Lisa Wong, present. We have 14 here. We have quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Ms. Reason, you would like to be recognized?
Yes, I'd like to move that all of the requests for excused absences be approved.
With the exception of Dorothy Wright.
Second.
Okay, any objections to excusing the requested excused absences? Hearing none, they are so excused. Do we have any volunteers to be timekeepers?
I'll volunteer.
Okay, for the section and individual requests, individual timekeepers? Anyone?
I'll do the individual stream.
You'll do both? Okay.
I'll do both, okay.
Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second?
I'm second.
Okay. Any objections to approving the minutes that were distributed to the local station board members?
I object.
Okay. If you could please take the microphone and provide a rationale for your objection.
Yeah, I object because there was a motion made at the Pacifica National Board that was not discussed with the local station board by a P&B representative, and also because the general manager did not present her report, and we just didn't even look at it.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Mr. Reyes, I'm having trouble understanding the objection because this is the minutes of what actually occurred, not what should have occurred.
Right, and the member that made the motion at the Pacifica National Board is present right now, and she did not discuss or even intimated that a motion was going to be made to get rid of Spanish-English programming.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Reyes. So you're objecting?
Yeah, I want to
Okay.
be on the record.
Okay. Well, since there is an objection to the minutes, let's go ahead and vote on them. Mr. Secretary, if you can vote on approval of the minutes. And that can just be.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
All those opposed? Board members only, please. Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right. It passes, I count 14-3.
Well, there's 14 total.
Hold on. Let me do it again. All those in
And one
favor?
abstention.
Okay, much better this time. All those opposed? Okay,
Abstentions?
This time, abstentions? Okay, so this time it balances out.
That's
10,
14.
10, 3, and 1. It passes.
Okay.
A point of personal privilege, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Reason,
I'm
please, with
hoping
your
that,
personal privilege.
I'm just hoping because this meeting is being recorded, that people can be tender with the microphone when they place it on the table and pick it up, and not, be aware that it's making a lot of extra noise when it's not put down gingerly. Thank you.
I will try to be more ginger. Do I have a motion to approve the proposed agenda? I understand that we have a CAB report on the agenda, which I'm going to say. I've received information that the person presenting that report will not be here today, so I'm going to say, can I have a motion to approve the proposed agenda without item C under reports?
So moved.
I move that the public comment be extended to 45 minutes.
A second.
Okay,
Which section? Section 3?
we have two public comments, one under item 3 and one under item 4. So did you want to, and that adds up to 30 minutes. So if you wanted an additional 15 minutes, would you like it on item number 3 or item number 6?
On the first one first.
I'm sorry?
On the first one.
On the first one, you would like an additional 15 minutes?
Correct.
To increase that to 30 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any objection?
I object.
Okay. So let's vote on the motion to, well, we're going to need to vote on the motion to extend public comment to 30 minutes under item 3.
Request for information.
Okay. Lawrence first, and, okay, Jen, go ahead, your request for information.
Yes, is Alan Minsky here?
Alan Minsky said he would be here at 11 o'clock to present the program director's report.
Okay, and it is 10:48. So I would like to have an amendment that the extra 15 minutes be placed in item number 6, so that we don't have Alan waiting here all day to make his.
We all wait all
Yeah,
day.
all
All
of
of
our
our families are here waiting, so
Report.
why can't he wait?
Okay, so if I can respond to that, I think that the public might benefit from hearing the program director before making their extended comments. Yeah, I'm wondering if that might be a friendly amendment, Lawrence Reyes?
I object to the tabling of this.
No, it's not tabling, it's just moving it from item 3 to item 6.
Right, and I object to that. I believe that the extra 15 minutes should be put ahead.
Okay, very good, so let's vote on that then.
And I'd like Fernando to motivate his reason for the motion.
A point of order. The amendment has to be taken up first, and it has to be seconded before it's even
It was seconded.
considered.
Well, was your
I
amendment
made an
seconded?
amendment to put the extra 15 minutes in item number 6 on the agenda.
Right,
instead of
was there a
item
second
number
to
3.
Grace's
Second.
amendment? Okay. So then we will do the amendment first and then the original motion. Okay.
The amendment has to be debated
Point of
first.
information,
Ismael?
yes, if extended, if the amendment passes, is it possible that the public debate be open as scheduled, and that when Mr. Minsky arrives, that he be given his time, and then we go back to the public comment? Is that possible?
Okay,
Can-
point
Well, it would, yeah, that's getting back
Sounds
to
like
the
a friendly
original.
amendment to me.
I don't-
point of
Wait,
order.
wait. Yeah.
That is acceptable, because each motion can have 2 amendments.
Oh.
So what Ismail is stating could be made as a second amendment, and that's perfectly acceptable. It just
And I
needs
wish
a
to make that
second.
amendment.
And I would second it.
Okay,
think that's a
and
good
I have to go back
compromise.
to Lawrence, the original maker of the motion. What's on the,
It was me.
okay, I'm sorry, Fernando. So the friendly amendment, or I don't know if it's a friendly amendment, the amendment that's being made is that we extend the public comment on item 3, but that we allow the program director to give his report when he arrives, and then we can continue with the public comment. Do you consider
Acceptable.
that? Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Is there anyone opposed to that arrangement?
Wait, can you repeat? Point
Okay.
of information.
Yes. Let me repeat that for you, Mila.
Thank you.
The friendly amendment, which is acceptable to Fernando, is that we allow the extension of public comment to 30 minutes under item 3. However, we will suspend public comments when the program director arrives to give his report, and after he finishes giving his report, we will continue with public comment,
With no loss in time.
with no loss in time for public comment. Now, if the public comment finishes, they're 30 minutes before he gets here, then we will move on with the agenda.
So the 30 minutes would be in item 3?
That's correct.
And there's no such thing as a friendly amendment, by the way.
Okay.
This is all-
Well, you will have to explain that to me at another time,
Yeah.
but it sounded friendly to me since Fernando accepted it. Thank you. Jan,
I would like to, now that I think we, perhaps without voting down to one amendment, one motion, that I would move that the time be split this 30 minutes. Are we asking for 15 extra minutes or 30 extra minutes?
15 extra minutes.
Okay.
Total.
So, I would move that time be split between item 3 and item 6. Just to make each one of them a little bit longer.
I've always been very liberal with public comment. I don't think that that's necessary.
Right.
And they had wanted it on
Right.
the first time.
And we're spending 15 minutes to
Right.
discuss 15 minutes.
So at this point, if there's no objections, can we approve the agenda as modified?
Thank you.
I second.
Are there any objections? Okay, hearing no objections,
It will be the first public comment section? 10
correct.
minutes?
We
Okay.
need to set time certain to adjourn. And we do have a committee rosters conveners report out on the agenda.
I moved to 2 o'clock at the time certain to be for adjournment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Point of information.
Yes, Mila?
My only concern, Mr. Chair, is that we allow for setting our next meeting date and location in that discussion, and if we have a time certain to adjourn, I want to make sure that our closing business is adequately addressed prior to leaving the Peace Center.
So do you have an alternate motion?
Can we vote?
Okay, my alternate motion is that the second public comment period end, giving enough time, 15 minutes prior to adjournment, at the time certain.
We have plenty
At
of
2:40,
time.
at 1:45.
Can I be recognized?
Grace?
Okay, I have a substitute motion that we move 7A, which is next meeting date and location, to 5G. That way we'll take care of it before the second public comment period.
Perfect.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any opposition to that? Okay, hearing no opposition, please note that Ray Sapora has arrived for the, okay. So that 7A item has been moved to 5G. No objection. Is there any objection to approving the agenda as modified? Jan?
Yes, I would like to add a to after public comment number 3, I would like to add never mind.
Thank you.
Okay, again, is there any objection to approving?
Oh, yes,
the
actually, I have
Jan?
I would like to add at the, when we're setting the next meeting date and location, to set a date for the delegates meeting to approve the minutes of this April 9th meeting that we are going to be sharing out.
Okay, so on item G, when we discuss next meeting date and location, we will add also next meeting date and location for the Delegates Assembly, for a closed session of the Delegates Assembly to approve the closed minutes of our last Delegates Assembly. Is there any objection to that? Hearing no objection, is there any objection to approving the agenda as modified? Mr. Reyes?
I just would like a general IGM report to be discussed in public because IGM, the general manager's report.
Okay, the general manager's not here today, so...
It's not on the agenda, there's no report on the agenda.
The report was emailed out to you last night.
Okay, so I haven't seen it.
Actually, it was sent Friday.
Oh, well, I just got emails, that's yesterday, in regards to everything that's been transpiring in the email.
Well,
So
the general manager will not be here today.
All right, so what I would like is for that report to be disseminated amongst the public, so they can find out exactly what it is that the IGM is doing.
Okay, the general manager, when the general manager does not attend the local station board meeting, we include the general manager's report that is provided to us with the minutes that are posted on KPFTX, so it is available to the public.
Okay, and in that form, but this members of the public who do not have access to navigating the KPFTX website, and so since the general manager's report was disseminated among the members of the LSB, I'm just wondering why it's not included in the hard copy of the minutes.
Oh, the reason for that is because it's a strain on our resources, that all the copies that are provided and the public did not receive the minutes. So it's not included in your hard copy minutes as an attachment to your hard copy minutes.
I'm just wondering.
The public does not receive the minutes at all.
I'm just wondering, Chair, why is
except on KPFTX.
I'm just wondering, Chair, why is it not on the agenda that a copy of her report was disseminated to the members and it's not in the agenda? Because I think that's kind of shady for it not to be included in the agenda. And maybe shady is not the appropriate word.
Well, and I can answer that for you. And shady is not the appropriate word. Thank you. Okay. The reason that it's not included with the minutes is because the general manager was not present at our last local station board meeting. Therefore, it is included as an attachment to the minutes, but it was not part of our last local station board meeting. So therefore, it's really not part of the minutes. Excuse me, let me finish. The only thing that we need to vote on for the minutes, which I believe were already approved, is the actual minutes.
Right.
Well,
So we do not need to approve the general manager's report because the general manager's report was not given at a local station board meeting.
Well,
It was just provided to us.
last report, last minutes of May on the agenda was the general manager's report with a recommendation that the settlement money for the union dues and that be returned back to the employees of KPFK, the pay employees, and that was in the minutes last month.
Okay.
A recommendation was made, and everybody.
Point of order.
Okay.
Point of order.
I think that we're getting off track here. Have we approved the agenda?
We set his time certain for 2 o'clock yet?
Yeah, so we set the time certain for 2 o'clock.
But we did not approve the agenda yet.
Well, we did move on to time certain, so we approved agenda.
No.
we just moved the,
We changed the time.
we changed.
So we started
time,
talking about
set the
time
next
certain
meeting.
before we approved the agenda, is what you're saying?
It was
Make a
as
motion.
part of the setting the agenda, we moved it, and we said, okay, we're gonna do this. And then the next thing is, I said, can we move?
Okay, I got it, thank you. Mr. Reyes, we've spent a lot of time trying to approve the proposed agenda.
Well, I'm object.
Excuse me, wait
I'm
until I
object.
call upon you. Wait until I call upon you, okay? I'm just clarifying. We spent a lot of time trying to approve the proposed agenda. What would you like added to the proposed agenda to make it, let me finish, to make it agreeable to you?
I would like added that the general manager's report was disseminated among the members of the local station board, but not among the members of the public.
Okay, if you can add that to your minutes for today. It has been done, that's not part of the agenda for today, but it has been added to the minutes, thank you.
We have about 15
Okay,
minutes for committee.
so do we have any other objections to approving the proposed agenda? Hearing none, the proposed agenda is hereby approved. Thank you. Committee rosters, conveners, report out. Governance asked that this item be placed on the agenda, basically to understand and get on record who are on the different committees, and to try to get conveners of any committees that are not yet in place. Have we convened the Strategic Planning Committee? Yeah.
We talked about it today, Alan and Grace and myself. We're probably going to meet on Mondays here, and we decided on that, is getting the mechanics along.
Okay, anyone interested in being part of the Strategic Planning Committee, please see Mr. Kaiser before he leaves today, but not during the meeting right now. Okay. Do you have so that's your report out, you haven't met yet as a Strategic Planning Committee.
We're about to convene.
Personnel Committee, I believe, is not meeting other than the subcommittee, the General Manager Search Committee, which is a closed committee. And Ali Lexa is chairing that. He's not here today. Okay. Outreach, Mr. Resapor.
Yes, first of all, I raised my hand twice. You refer to the manager after coup d'etat or before coup d'etat.
Yeah, please use the microphone, Mr. Poor. And this is the report out for your outreach committee, if you'd like to talk about that. Anyone interested in outreach may see Mr. Poor.
Yeah, I have flyers.
Then use the microphone.
Yeah, please use the microphone.
KPFK Outreach Committee at the Echo Park Film Center. We have 2 events, and I have the flyer I pass out. We show 2 films at the Echo Park Film Center. Every day, Echo Park Film Center, every day they have an event, and Outreach Committee is participating, passing out the leaflet about KPFK.
Okay, and can you tell us where in Echo Park that is located?
1200 North Alvarado. It's next to Sunset Boulevard.
Okay, 1200 North Alvarado, next to Sunset Boulevard. Would that be at the church there?
It's next to the church.
Okay,
Next
thank
to the
you.
gas station.
Thank you. Finance Committee, our finance point person, Ken Herron, is not here today. So are there any other committees that would like to share out? Grace for finance?
Yeah, the Finance Committee has been meeting monthly, and we'll be meeting this Wednesday night at the station at 7:30.
Okay, and so anyone interested in finance, if they could see Grace Aaron before you leave today, since she's involved with the Finance Committee. Thank you. Any other committees that would like to talk at this point? Mila?
I would just like to tell everybody that the rosters for all of the KPFK committees are posted at kpftx.org. And there's an automatic system so that committee members are automatically notified of the date and time of upcoming meetings. Those rosters are not filled out. I'm going to pass around sheets of paper. If you're interested in any of those committees, please sign up with your email, and I will enter the committee rosters so that people will be notified if they want to serve on those committees when those committees are meeting. So I'm going to pass those sheets around now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mila has graciously agreed to be the point person to update our KPFTX session to reflect the subcommittee members who are on each of the committees. So if committee chairs can give the names of their committee members to Mila so she can do that, that will be very helpful. Thank you, Mila. We're moving on to item 2. The share out from our closed session on April 9th, 2017. Yes.
I had a question for, I thought you were going to ask about, sorry. I thought you were going to ask for questions or comments at the end of the committee, at the end of the committee reports.
Okay.
Report out. I have a question.
Please, go ahead.
Yes, this is for Outreach Committee. Are the films scheduled on a regular basis there now, on a regular day?
I'm gonna pass out.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Reyes.
I'm just wondering why committee meetings haven't been announced or posted on the KPFK website or even disseminated to the public.
Okay, so the
Also,
question
that's
was,
time they met.
so the question was, why haven't committee meetings been posted? Those committees that are meeting have been posted. Unfortunately, not a lot of committees are meeting, so that's why they're not posted, because they're not meeting. Any other questions, John?
I also wanted to.
Mike?
I also wanted to say that the committees should also be posted on KPFTX, which is where all the committees, national committees and local station board committees are posted. So if the listeners would like to take note of that, and also everybody on the station board, to check KPFTX, it tends to be .org. It tends to be
Sketchy.
the most up to date. They keep it up pretty well. That is, if people post it.
Thank you, Ms. Goodman. Yes, the committee meetings are posted on both KPFK and KPFTX. And that's kpfk.org and kpftx.org for those listening. It's not .com or .net, it's .org. Okay. Any other questions about committee reports? Hearing none, we're going to go on to item 2. The share out from our closed session on April 9th, 2017 is that we had a closed session of the KPFK Delegates Assembly to discuss confidential legal matters. And now, with that, we're ready for public comments number 1, which I have for 30 minutes.
7 seconds each.
From 11:08 I have. So we could say from 11:10. And do we have a microphone for the public to use?
You can use this one.
I think this is the longest one.
Oh,
Thank you, Lawrence.
and just in terms of ground rules, are we having everybody speak for how many minutes? And
70 seconds.
70 seconds each. If you can line up over here where Mr. Velasquez is, all those wishing to speak.
and does
We're
everybody
going to
get to
start
speak
right
once
now.
before you have a second chance?
We're just going to take them in line as they line up. So hopefully,
They smoked already.
they will not cut their place in line.
We're giving 30 minutes to this too, so it'll be a lot of.
Right. Yeah, there should be plenty of time for public discussion.
Who's first? He is on the board. This is public comment. And then-
He's helping with the
Oh,
microphone.
okay.
Fernando, if we want, we can have them come from this side. If that would be more convenient. Because of the camera on the right, it might be difficult to do it on this side, on my right.
Will they come out?
Does anyone want to speak?
No.
Okay, Fernando, we cannot see the public over there.
I don't see the public either.
Okay. Does anyone from the public wish to talk?
Yes.
Okay, well, we got a microphone right there with Mr. Velasquez. If you would like to grab it, let's start.
What the heck's going on? Can't get the thing started?
It's getting started.
Come on.
Ready?
Oh, I'm sorry, I just trying to...
Yeah, please come out. Please come out.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, good morning everyone.
You got 70 seconds.
7 seconds. Okay, my name is Dulce, I'm from Island Empire. So I'm listening to the radio for like a year now. And what bring me to the radio for the new station of a new show that calls Arrabaleros de Magón. So because of the music. And after that I started listening any other show since 6 in the morning when I drive home, when I drive work, and when I drive back. I listen all of them. Democracy, and I love the station. I really love the station, but I noticed lately that the Spanish programs are getting low. So I don't know why. I don't know the reason because what is that happening? What I know as a member of it, I do my portion every month. I donate my money to the station because I really want to listen to Spanish programs. And it's not because I don't speak English or I don't understand. It's not my first language, but I clearly speak it and I understand. But I want to see another variety. I want to see different. Okay, so my kids, you know, they speak 2 languages. I want them to know what's going on right
10
here.
seconds.
Good morning, my name is Blanca Soto. I'm president and founder of Tierra Blanca Art Center. We've been around for almost 20 years, and I've been a member of KPFK, always as a member and donating for every single campaign, you know, since probably 20 or more. So I've been knowing KPFK, y Radio Latina, y Radio Pacifica, and Nuestra Voz, and all of the programs. One thing that I found, which is very unique for the Spanish program, is one thing is we know, you know, all my programs are in Spanish, and my cultural center, even though we do the introduction, our summer camp, our cultural summer camp, everything's in Spanish, because we want that connection with the parents and their children. Sometimes that gives us that gap, that disconnect the parents and the children. So we bring that, and one of the things is I always motivate our parents on every single program that I do to listen to KPFK, because where you're gonna find better news, with more truth, with more focus, you know, to give us a great information. I love the new programming because el programa de maíz, Yo Soy Maíz, right? And it's for me it was an eye-opening. And please, I really encourage every single one of you to consider to keep those 5 hours and probably give us 5 more. Because we need people to see what's happening in Spanish. Thank you.
To the members of the local station board of Pacifica Radio, KPFK 9.7 FM, Los Angeles, we denounce Pacifica National Board's racist discriminatory vote to resign 5 hours in Spanish. By passing this motion, Pacifica is shutting down its doors to indigenous, Latino, and Spanish-speaking communities in violation by its own bylaws and its mission, and aligning with the current racist discrimination of Donald Trump. Of those 13 P and B delegates who voted against Spanish language programming, 4 are seated on this KPFK LSB. They are Jen Goodman, who introduced the motion, Grace Aaron, Jonathan Alexander, and Mansur Sabag. Shame on you. Que vergüenza. PBN passes the motion to eliminate Spanish programming using false arguments. Even though Spanish language programs have raised $10,000s of dollars on air and in community events, the National Board falsely claims that these programs need to be canceled because they do not contribute financially to the station. We ask board members to cite the specific article by the bylaws that indicate the programming has to raise a certain amount of funds in order to have a right to be
5
aired.
seconds.
No stipulation exists. Spanish-speaking programming on Pacifica was created for the benefit of first-generation migrants who do not speak English, who, with their work and taxes, subside the same middle class that so generously finances Pacifica Radio. Why should Pacifica and KPFK accept more financial contributions from a sector that is already exploited and prosecuted?
Okay, and to piggyback off of what my colleague said, Spanish language programs are subject to an unfair language-based practice of preemption after 1 week of the fundraiser, whereas certain English language programs remain on air despite raising little to zero money throughout the duration of the fund drive. The records are available at any time. These fund drive decisions to take Spanish language programs off the air for weeks at a time anger and alienate our listeners and constitute a coordinated campaign to weaken our programming and listener base. Spanish language hours are not scheduled during drive time radio. If KPFK really wanted us to succeed, there would be forward promotion of our programming during peak hours, just as there are English language promotions played during Spanish programming.
That's true.
And to end, I'd like to cite Article 1, Identity and Purpose, Section 3, Principles in our bylaws. The Foundation is committed to peace and social justice and seeks to involve in its governance and operations individuals committed to these principles. Article 1, Identity and Purposes, Section 4, Commitment to Diversity. The Foundation is committed to diversity and inclusion of all nations, races, ethnicities, creeds, colors, classes, genders, sexual orientations, ages, and people with disabilities in its programming staff.
Time.
Management committees and governance. Can this board tell us how did you select these board members when they are against diversity and social justice and pro-racism and exclusion?
We want John Goodman out of the board. We want John out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be respectful. Audience, I will make a commentary after public comments, but I ask you to please respect us as we're trying to respect you. Thank you.
You're trying. You're
We're trying.
You're trying hard.
Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna read part of the bylaws that we are trying to make to be in consideration. Back to the Pacifica mission. The new Spanish programming has been airing for less than a year at KPFK, and it already counts with over 30 dedicated volunteers. These new voices have opened a community radio space for youth, women, indigenous people, and offer information that is relevant to our Spanish-speaking communities and fulfills Pacifica's mission of inclusion and serving the communities in its signal area. Pacifica and KPFK should be a sanctuary for those communities that are under attack. Instead, Pacifica votes to close its doors to a hard-hit Latino community. This is a vote of exclusion that violates Pacifica's mission. Language justice at the core of Pacifica's mission. Access to information in the language one is most comfortable in is a vital human right and an essential service that KPFK provides to our Spanish-speaking communities in Southern California and beyond.
Time.
That's what its mission and bylaws dictate. Yet, our language is not welcome. Pacifica Inexcite.org complains that KPFK schedules large blocks of time for Spanish language only programs that are inaccessible to non-Spanish fluent audiences. This and an apologetic radio hypocrisy. What if Spanish-speaking audiences ask that all English language programming be bilingual and accessible to audiences not fluent in English?
Please wrap it up. Thank you.
Chair, I just have a question. Why is it that Mr. Blair is messing with the sound system?
Thank you.
Okay.
Mess with the system?
Mr.
He
Reyes?
has not been assigned that job, that task. So,
Okay, Mr. Reyes, you're out of order. Thank you.
Good
well,
morning,
he's out of
members.
order for doing that.
He's out of order.
I'm gonna be out of order if he's out of order.
It's your time now, please.
Good morning, members of the board.
Yeah, respect the public,
Thank you for
please.
being here.
Down or you
Respect, okay? Respect.
Right, respect
Be
the past.
quiet, be quiet, okay?
Excuse me, students.
I'd like to talk about
It's the let's respect this lady that's talking up here right now. It's her turn. Thank you.
I'd like to talk about the bylaws. Article 1, Identity and Purpose, Section 2 states that Pacifica must establish and operate for educational purposes in such a manner that the facilities involved shall be as nearly self-sustaining as possible. This section does not state anywhere that a program needs to raise a certain amount of money to remain on the air. So the argument that the board made was absolutely wrong. Now, also to encourage and provide outlets for the creative skills and energies of the community. That is the mission. To conduct classes and workshops, and we have done exactly that. The Spanish Language Programmers Association has conducted countless workshops and classes, training programs, and time for community groups, and we also have the youngest generations working, and kids that are 10, 13 years old. And so we would like to say that, sorry, this is emotional. You cannot expect to have different nations speaking English only. Thank you. And
Time.
I thank you.
Too good, you're not alone.
Spanish programmers, we provide multilingual languages, Zapoteca, Nahua, Maya Cachiquel, Maya Canjobal, and many different other languages within the Spanish-speaking community. This is our continent. It's called Abya Yala, Turtle Island. Welcome to our continent, for those of you. And your ancestors that got here too. Welcome to our continent. Data show that Spanish speakers are a fast-growing population in the United States and as an influential market for media, especially in the LA metropolitan area. The second largest radio market in the country. Nearly half of LA speaks Spanish, among other indigenous languages. At home, and this number is rapidly increasing. We deserve the voices of our people, not only in Spanish, but in Maya, in Cachiquel, in Lengua, in Quechua, and all our indigenous tongues. At home, and it's rapidly increasing. We deserve that our voices be heard on these community airwaves. Stop violating bylaws excluding our communities from the airwaves. Stop violating the bylaws of Pacifica's mission. Please, stop.
Stop.
Paragraph H, to conduct town hall style meetings at least twice a year devoted to hear listeners'
10
views,
seconds.
needs, and concerns, yet not so much town hall meetings are being held. Is the local board afraid of showing their faces to our community? We speak Maya, we speak Lenca, we speak Nahua, Cachiquel, and we also speak Spanish. Welcome to our continent.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Francisco Martinez, and I'm a teacher, by the way. And today I came here because I thought it was outrage that this board is getting ready to eliminate a large portion of Spanish language programming. And one of the things that I wanted to point out is that an injury to one is an injury to all. And at this point, I think we're under attack by Trump. And the worst thing we want to do is fight against each other. And one of the ways that I think that you're accomplishing that is by actually going after the Spanish language programming. And what I think is, now you go against us, who's going to be next? Is it going to be the African American? Is it going to be the Asian American? Who's going to be next? So I think that as a member of this community, I think that it's about time that we start thinking that this is not anybody's station. This station belongs to all of us. And I think that if it belongs to all of us, we cannot rationalize exempting a group of people and throw them out just because we think that these people are not making enough money. I think the station wasn't founded on those principles. I think the station was founded on the principle of unity, on the principle of working together so that we can actually work to build a better society. So I'm appealing to all of you, especially those who are probably pushing this idea of eliminating this 4 hours of Spanish language program, that I think that you need to start thinking that it's not about us, it's about the community that we serve, it's about those communities that need this information, and if it is not because of the Spanish language on the air, they're never going to get this information anywhere else. So I'm appealing to you to please keep Spanish language programming. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm local board. My name is Song Kwao-Ting. I'm an assistant superintendent to 16 schools in LUSD. And in that work that I do, By the way, I've been a listener sponsor for the last 20 years. And when I make those calls to make those donations, I don't do it in the Spanish hours. I do it in the English time. And it's unfair that you guys are targeting where the money is being fundraised. We're supporting you. We support KPFK because we thought that you are an ally.
Yes.
We have a bunch of parents that only speak Spanish, and we're trying to raise their consciousness to create the country that we want. And for you guys to target those 5 hours where the consciousness is being raised is detrimental to the work that I'm doing as an educator in the community, empowering parents, students. Homework assignments for dual language immersion schools are being assigned to the late hours of Spanish so that students are able to develop that consciousness.
10 seconds.
So it's very important that you do not follow this path. We do not want to be divided. We want to be united in order for us to continue to uplift our country. Thank you.
Before the next person speaks, what we had agreed upon is that we would recess public comments if the program director arrived. What I show is that we have given 15 minutes to public comments. We agreed for another 15 minutes during this session. So after the program director speaks, we will give the public another 15 minutes.
After 5B, Jamie, 5B, question and answer for the program director also. Go back to 15 minutes.
You're better off just letting them finish the 15.
Yeah, I think that this was what it was agreed upon.
Yes, go ahead.
But do you want to just go ahead? We got 15 minutes. We can just finish the 15 minutes.
Well,
let's do that.
Well, that wasn't the agreement. The agreement.
Let's go. Okay, I have an objection over here. Let's go by what we agreed upon. Mr. Minsky, if you would like to give your report.
The agreement is the public comment is exhausted after Mr. Minsky gives his report.
Correct. That will give them time to respond to this report,
15 minutes.
as Jan pointed out, which is what we originally agreed to. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I was mainly coming out here. I was actually told that people told me that they didn't think there was going to be a quorum today.
Yeah.
Is there a quorum today?
There is.
Okay. And then what we had spoken about earlier actually was something a little longer than 15 minutes. And what I was hoping to do...
Well, you take as long as you need.
No. What I'm hoping to do...
Hold the microphone.
There we go, mic control.
Point of clarification.
Yeah.
What we agreed to was that when you arrived, then you would get the time, whatever you need to make your report.
Sure.
It's not that you're limited to 15 minutes, but we extended the time for the public so that they have an extra 15 minutes. So whenever you do finish, then they can have their extra 15 minutes. You don't have to limit yourself to 15 minutes.
Well, okay, but what I did is, when we spoke, and 3 of us met, right, back about 3 months ago, and we'd spoken about me coming in and giving a report because I have rarely been at the LSB.
Just really quickly, the agenda says 15 minutes for the program director's report, and it was approved. Are you just sticking to the 15 minutes, or is it going to be extended?
I'm going to try to go shorter than 15 minutes.
Go ahead. Sorry. Just wanted to clarify.
Well,
Can you state your name?
I'm Alan Minsky. I'm the interim program director at KPFK. And so what I would like to do is, if it's okay with the board, is just defer my report until next month and then have more time.
Please take 15 minutes to present whatever you need.
Well, I thought, I was under the impression that we were going to do something longer than 15 minutes when we spoke.
Point of information.
Right, and then I wasn't.
Excuse me, point of information. Didn't we also allow for some time for Q&A?
Yeah.
So we have 20 minutes total, and maybe we could have a...
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want no questions and answers for the program director right now because we're taking, yes, not at this time, you're out of order, okay? So I want to turn over the mic to Mr. Minsky. He has 15 minutes. If you need to take a little bit longer, we can extend that, that's not a problem. But I don't want to take up time talking about this right now. I want to give you the opportunity to make your report.
Okay. Well, here's my report. Look, about 4 years ago, was it 4 or 5 years ago, Arlene Engelhardt was the executive director of Pacifica. And I had written out some thoughts about a particular subject that was a hot button issue at Pacifica at the time. She encouraged me to expand my thoughts, and then when I sent her that, she said, just keep expanding. So I did, and so it became this kind of vision for Pacifica that she was interested in, and floated around the network. Fast forward a few years, and Truthdig published the whole thing with another summary of it that I wrote. What I'd like to do, and what I was hoping to do when we had spoken a few months ago, and I thought this was what we were going to be pursuing with my appearance here, not a conventional program director's report, but a broader vision for the station. So I was looking to take that document, update it, because it really does need updating, because radio has been transformed as a medium in the past 4 or 5 years since I wrote it. I think all independent media has too, because of social media. So the social media component in that report is weak and needs to be updated. And also podcasts have become an unbelievable phenomenon. And in fact, for the first time, digital media is challenging traditional radio stations in a way that other, media, the music industry, the film industry, television, have been challenged by what's appeared on the internet. For the first time now, over-the-air radio stations are being challenged by the popularity of podcasts. And of course, all of that may be thrown into chaos with the end of net neutrality. And I wanted to just bring those things, add them into what I had written there as best as I could, just to hand it over to the board so they can have it and reflect on it. And then, of course, they'll all of you and everybody who could look at it would either agree with it, disagree with it, if maybe you'll just spark ideas about the development of radio, the industry, Southern California, KPFK, over-the-air radio, where it all stands. And the other thing I would want to do is to try to go through and adjust the language to KPFK because it was written for Pacifica. And so that, I can sort of, make it clear about what I think in the radio station could do. I mean, obviously this network has a lot of internal strife, and one of the things that's always sort of free-floating is the 2 West Coast stations. I'm definitely not an advocate for any separation from the Pacifica network, and I fully support us trying to save WBAI and help strengthen it. But at the same time, there's no reason why this radio station, within that context, can't become, an absolute, media powerhouse. And that was what was behind the thing I wrote in terms of Pacifica, and I think I'd enjoy being able to adjust that to KPFK. Now, the other things so I was thinking big picture stuff. KPFK program director report for this month. I do want to say I felt bad about not including yesterday's special programming for the LGBT community in my program director's report. The fund drives are exhausting. Christine and I are like zombies in the hallways after a while. And it can be a little hard to be on top of everything that goes on in the course of a month at the station when I write up those reports when I'm coming off a fund drive. But the other thing I have to say too is that I think that this radio station, with everything that I would, and I think this is something I really want to say right now to the board, and forgive me, audience, for addressing the board in this manner, is that I think that the general manager selection at this hour of this radio station and this institution is as important a decision as has ever been made in the history of KPFK. I mean, it's terrible to put that much pressure on one person who's going to come in, but and it's not because I think the station is on the cusp of failing. It isn't, but the capacity of this radio station, and this pertains to everything that everybody in the room here would want to see KPFK able to achieve. To have somebody who can really hold the confidence of the communities that are a part of KPFK, such that you can have a forward vision for expansion and empowering of this institution, is just so important. So I really do hope, there is a really strong pool of candidates, and you all make a really responsible set of decisions in putting forward finalists, and that they're great people there, and they can really recognize the value of this institution at this point in history. Because, there's nothing like KPFK in Southern California, and Southern California is not just any old metropolitan area in this country or the world. It's really one of the most influential in the whole wide world. And things that we do here can help change the world. The other thing I'll say right now, because I'm doing these big picture things, I just followed very, very closely the UK general election. And it is just, if you look at some of the independent media projects that made an impact on that election, which I think is a historic election, neoliberalism really started with Thatcher's England, and maybe it's going to end there, or at least really get challenged there in a frontal way for the first time. One of the major economic powers in independent media, some of these voices, they just rise up against a really horrible national media, and they're doing it through social media. And our social media component, it barely exists, and that has to be utterly turned around. And so in terms of people talking about what's strong in our programming, what's not strong in our programming, the strongest show in the world right now is weakened by the absence of social media, and almost to the point of it's almost lethal to have a project without a strong social media component. So yeah, that's outside the program department, and I of course have no this is not a criticism in any way directed at Bill Crozier or Christine. They're simply too new. I think they agree with this, yes, so social media, and we need to really pick up our game on that, and that will be the biggest assistance to the programming. I know, I mean, I don't have much else to say.
Alan's taken about 9 of the 20 minutes allocated to this.
Yeah,
so we got 11 minutes elsewhere.
Yeah, I can take questions, whatever things from the board. Or
Okay, so Alan finished 5 minutes early. We also have, as part of the program director's report, a 5-minute question and answer session from the board. So I'm going to take questions and answers and limit it to 10 minutes. Okay? I'm going to go this way. Grace?
She raised her hand.
Okay, I'm going to go Grace. If you can take names down for the staff. Grace, Jan, Fernando, Lawrence, Raisa, and Mila.
And Steve.
And you can put Steve on the end there. Okay, Grace, you can start.
I'd like to know, Alan, what plans you're making to add health and self-help programming to the KPFK grid, being that over the last 10 or 15 years, millions of dollars have come in fund drives from health and self-help programming, and yet our grid and our regular programming does not include programming. This type of programming definitely conforms to the Pacifica mission. It's information that's not commonly heard anywhere else, especially as pharmaceutical, big pharma, lobbies to keep it off regular airwaves. I'm talking about alternative health. I'm talking about self-help that competes with the sale of antidepressants and other medications that could possibly be ameliorated by self-help and by better nutrition. So, and because of its popularity among our members and funders, I would wonder why we don't have more of regular programming devoted to those subjects.
Well, we have one show in development with a strong figure from that community in Southern California. We had another, but the guy dropped out. Yeah, I mean, currently, I don't know that there's any thought of, hasn't been anything in development to expand the amount of that programming that you refer to, other than the fact that Roy Tuckman came back to 6 hours a night, Monday through Thursday, and Roy has a strong component of that, and of course is one of the most popular programmers on the station. And, but yeah, thank you. I mean, obviously, it's I understand that per the Lou Hill theory of listener-sponsored radio, the argument you made has a lot of, would seem to have a lot of leverage. I don't want to say more, except obviously it raises a lot of money, and however, I'm not sure that the listenership of the shows across the 1 o'clock strip, with the data that we've had over the years, shows that they are actually overly popular as off of the fund drives. They're obviously exceptionally popular when we compare them for their performance in the fund drive versus other shows.
Thank you, Alan. Jan?
Use
the microphone.
We don't have one.
And while that's being adjusted, I mean, my sense is that, yeah, I mean, you would think that something like the Aware Show would have had, that 1 o'clock strip would have had sky-high Arbitron ratings. It never did when we were receiving the Arbitrons. And the same with the online stuff, though it certainly isn't the weakest hour that we've had.
A couple of things. I think that we have a very large audience today that is interested in Spanish language programming. And I wanted you to address, if you could, among everything that you address, the resolution that was passed, and just so that everybody actually hears what the resolution was, because I don't think that that's actually been distributed, that the important part of the resolution is that the Pacifica management be instructed to use their best efforts to air mission-driven programming, which will maximize listenership and fundraising in especially the short but also the medium term, including such efforts determining whether or not to institute or retain or add 5 hours of additional Spanish language programming at each station. And I wanted to have you address,
Time. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry. That just was confusing to me.
I want to object to cutting Jen off. Excuse me.
Okay, Mila, you're out of order. Let's let Alan respond.
Well, yeah, I mean, I certainly need clarification on the question. I was, of course, you were saying you were going to read a motion. I was anticipating what I thought the motion might be, and what you just read confused me. I didn't expect that to be in there.
Can we go with the stack?
Next.
Yeah, if Fernando, you're next.
Yes, next. Thank you.
The person responsible for introducing the motion to dismantle, to rescind the previous order by the Pacifica National Board of 5 hours in Spanish, Jan Goodman, has a very, very long time as a protector of Alan Minsky, and bringing Alan Minsky to stop the Spanish language programming from being initiated. But way back when Corey Dubin was the program director, and the moment Alan Minsky became the interim program director for life, he immediately said he was going to send the Spanish language programming to the internet. Then later he announced he was going to send it to some low power FM station outside the station. So my question to Alan Minsky is, at this point, is he still working for Jen Goodman to dismantle the Spanish language programming, or is he going to have the backbone to stand up to her and say the Spanish language programming stays because this is a very growing community, and the Pacifica motion calls for the inclusion of the people who are being persecuted by the Republicans today?
Can Jen respond?
Okay, hold on.
We want an answer.
Yes.
What's it going to take?
Yes, we're going to allow Alan to speak. What I told the audience I was going to make a commentary after public comments. I think it may be appropriate to make this commentary right now.
Would you turn that light off, please? This bright light, would you turn that off? I can't stand it in my eyes. It's not appropriate. Turn your camera off. Turn that light off.
Nobody says anything. We can't have any camera going.
Okay.
Nobody says anything.
It's shining in my eyes.
I'm going to wait until we're in order here, Stephen. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I need to take a point of personal privilege here for myself, and I'm going to also do it for some of our board members, and some of who are not here today. Mr. Velasquez, you were at our last meeting at the Iman Center, I believe. At that meeting, we talked, there was concern from some board members, and that has been continued to be communicated to me, that some board members feel attacked when they come to meetings here at the Peace Center. The Peace Center has been a great place for us to meet. We have communication system. I think that your remarks that were, I felt, hostile to individual people when you name people are out of order. I would ask you not to do that. We need to respect everyone here. And I don't believe you are doing that, so I'm going to put you
They're
on
being
notice that
hostile
you're
to
out
our
of order.
community. They're being
I'm
hostile
going
to
to
our
let
community.
Alan respond to Fernando.
Again, first of all, I apologize, Jan, I just didn't quite expect what you were saying to be said.
Can you use the mic?
Yeah, and I'm still confused by what you were reading as part of the motion. I thought the motion was simpler than that. Well, anyway, Fernando says a lot of things that just are patently untrue. Of course, I do not consider myself in any way to be sponsored by Jan Goodman. Jan's a great person, but I don't have any political or within Pacifica affiliation with either of the two factions of this board. I think if you look at what I've done across the time that I've been the program director, that's pretty clear. I've only ever intervened in this internecine warfare when one side or the other gets completely out of hand. What can I say? I think that political scientists should study Pacifica and the period after these bylaws went into effect, because it's like a little petri dish where this binary opposition just gets, people, dig their heels in. And so I've criticized criticisms of both factions, serious criticisms of both factions, but and I don't think the welfare of the station has been served. However, this board currently is here, and I hope you all can not, fight each other to the death. But no, I'm not the sponsor of I'm not sponsored by anybody here, And then in terms of what you said about the motion, the one thing I'll say is, first of all, I try as program director to be as language neutral as I can. I see myself as somebody who's in the position I'm in because of my relationship to political activism in Southern California, and then so I'm sort of like an activist media person. Obviously, I've done the media stuff now for so long that I think more like that than I did 15 years ago. But I completely recognize I believe myself to have like working class solidarity politics, and I understand that the working class in Southern California largely speaks Spanish, probably predominantly speaks Spanish.
We're right here. Right.
And so I would love nothing more than Spanish language programming to be a powerhouse on KPFK. I will say this though, just because I don't want to get into the details of how individual shows perform and all that jazz is I do think using these boards to create programming mandates is something that I don't agree with, and I don't think fits within the Pacifica. But that cuts in both directions. So.
Thank you. Now I have a few more people on the stack. We've gotten less than halfway through the stack, and we've used up the minutes for this section. But all I'm saying is, I don't want to cut you guys off because I need the public to be able to, excuse me, don't interrupt. I'm going to continue to go through the stack. I just want to advise you that time is of the essence, so keep it quick and to the point, because the public has their right to continue with their public comment. Okay? So Lawrence, you're next.
Yes, seeing that all the Trumpisms that are existing right now in Pacifica in regards to the way the membership is being treated, the 5 hours of language, Spanish language programming was a mandate by the Pacifica National Board, and I believe that sometimes the governance has to intervene because of the inertia that exists with, as you said, the way people dig in their heels. And so I believe that it's 5 hours of Spanish language programming was the justification as to the direct institutional racism that exists in Pacifica among our so-called allies. I myself sent an email to Jan when she was at the national board meeting, requesting a telephone call from her in regards to the nature of this motion. And up to today, that was about 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't received a call. So,
call me.
Well, I don't have your number. My question is, Alan, do you support the mandate of 5 hours of Spanish language programming? And how have you supported it while it was being developed at KPFK? And do you now still, are you intending to do anything to intercede into this, into the usurpation of Ms. Goodman's motion to eliminate the 5 hours of Spanish language program.
Say it. Microphone.
I mean, I'm aware this is going on. There was pretty much universal resentment among all the managers in the network towards the PMB motion, and it had almost nothing to do with the, well, no, I don't think that's true. It'd be unfair to say that it had nothing to do with the specific content. As you know, no other station fulfilled the motion. And
Which motion?
the motion to expand five hours of Spanish language programming. So there's 5 stations in the network that all of which were supposed to have, my understanding from the motion was 1 hour of, well, I forget the specific language, but I think it was Spanish language programming, but 4 other non-English language programming between 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. 5 days, 5 hours a week. Only KPFK responded to it, and it was a motion that was passed. I forget who the ED was when it was originally passed. It either was Arlene or Summer, so it sort of sat there as a motion that wasn't, that no executive director would, because the way it works is a motion gets passed, and then at the PMB level, the executive director then passes it on to the general managers, who then pass it on relates to programming, which is not supposed to the program director. And so Arlene, it was initially Arlene, refused to acknowledge the motion because she thought it didn't comply with the rules of the institution, because boards aren't supposed to be mandating programming. And then same with Summer, and then of course Lydia changed that. At which point Leslie implemented it, and then I implemented it. I'm just waiting for some. I understand this is out there, but I don't know if it'll ever be brought to me to do anything about it. And again, just like this is a theoretical question, and I hope people can appreciate this. Whatever the mandate would be, if it was to give Alan Minsky's all-time favorite radio show 10 hours a week, I would oppose it if it came from the board. I think that look, those of us in Pacifica management, and believe it or not, and thank you for noticing the absurdity of my tenure as interim, I think I'm the second senior manager in the network, and I think I'm actually longer because I think Bertolt went on a hiatus at one point. And both the 2 guys down in Houston left. The managerial turnover within the network is just ridiculous, and in large part that's because the managers feel the boards are so dysfunctional that they don't want to work inside the institution anymore. And so, given the history of dysfunction of the boards, and either I think it's not recognizing objective reality unless you acknowledge that these boards have been incredibly dysfunctional. The idea that the boards can then mandate programming, I would consider that the death of the network right there.
Thank you, Alan. Reza?
Alan, let me tell you something. What is missing? When Fernando was in charge of the news department, KPFK were in every corner of the city interviewing people here, there. We don't have news department.
Okay, so what's the question for Alan?
Let him
get to it.
You're saying the news department.
Okay, you're out of order, Lawrence.
It's not. When I was a board member, Sonali was a board member. Sonali was against the Soviet Union when they were in Afghanistan. Sonali was supporting Taliban, all those criminals. And Sonali is back again, on KPFK.
So what's the question?
The question is, it's not one person. It's most of the program, 5 hours, Jan Master. I have all the document. It's CIA had, most of the program that he does, they are ex-agent. This is the program you are producing and giving to people, and we don't make money. Why Jan Master is a warmonger has to have 5 hours, and some Spanish programs are being cut.
So I got the question.
Thank you.
The news department, Ernesto Arce and Dan Fritz are out in the community. Actually, throughout the tenure of Eva George's time, we did not average or even come close to averaging 15 minutes of local news in the 6 p.m. hour. So we actually are producing more news locally than we were back then. Ian Masters. There is no doubt, it is true that Ian Masters is a very among the variations of an extremely big tent defined American left. Ian stands out as unique. I know people though who are of the very radical left though who love Ian's show because they just read it critically and there's a lot of information there. And it's, as far as I can tell, as popular a show as is produced at KPFK.
Thank you, Alan. Mila?
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, were you on the stand?
I was the first one who wanted to speak, so don't pass over me, please.
That's not Barbara, that's Roberta.
I'm sorry,
My name is Roberta.
I'm sorry, Roberta.
Yes, nuts and bolts question. I perused the website, going from the schedule grid to the individual page of each show and each host. And with the idea that we could maybe use social media to link to some upcoming things, maybe the arts or the culture or an upcoming guest or something. And I was surprised how many of our individual show pages have minimal content, not linkable worthy. It just is maybe conducted by so-and-so review of the arts. This one sentence. You can't use that in social media. And yes, some enterprising hosts have their own thing going on Facebook and whatever, and that should be included. When we have a show accepted onto our grid, do we make it clear to the host, is it the host's responsibility to provide a stream of content to their station page, or do we do it for them? Do they have access? How can we make that more usable for those of us who'd be happy to help promote different shows?
Thank you. So everything you're saying is absolutely spot on. Since we've had, we actually just brought in a new DJ for, I've seen the notes, the program director report for Tuesday 11 to 1 slot. I think he's the first new programmer since Ali Lex has been back. So we can return to that. When we didn't have a webmaster, there was sort of, the thing just went, the whole thing was atrophying away. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those things, and then the website itself. And it is true, in my opinion at least, that as much as Facebook and Twitter and these private, massive, influential platforms on the internet have sort of become more influential than the actual web pages, it's essential for a media institution to have its own web page to anchor the way that material is put out. The thing I wrote that I referred to 4 or 5 years ago, at that point, social media was just rising up, and it's very much, the whole thing is an essay about exactly what you're talking about. So I completely concur with you, and I think all of that needs to have its I's dotted and T's crossed, and if we're going to be, what we need to be.
Public comments. Families are waiting. Public comments, please.
Thank you, Alan. Mila?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say that I consider myself to be part of a coalition, not a faction. I'd also like to say that I'm proud to call Jan Goodman a friend, and I really object to
racist friend.
People being called out and not given an opportunity to speak on and explain things from your own perspective. But I wanted to ask you, Alan, prior to your arrival here, there were a number of people from our Spanish-speaking community who raised concerns about our practice of allowing Spanish language programming to air during the first week of the program, the fund drive. And then that programming being eliminated for the remainder of the fund drive, but it hasn't raised a certain amount of money. And I wonder,
can you speak louder, please?
Oh, sorry.
10 seconds.
I wonder if you could address that concern And I heard a really good suggestion that I think you would have benefited from, which was that there was another member of the community who said that if we could have more forward promos of some of the Spanish language programming, that could help our larger Spanish language community know that programming exists.
Especially during English language time periods.
A bunch of stuff there. Obviously the decision during the fund drive is motivated by money. I don't make any decision like that unilaterally. It's in fact all the major money decisions. I've had 7 years as an interim program director with 7 general managers. Some of them, Bob Conger just let me run all of that without he didn't want to be consulted. But most of the general managers have been involved in motivating that decision, those kind of decisions as much as I have, the global village preemptions, the Spanish language preemptions. And this fund drive, which is I think the first complete one that Christine was in charge for, I think she felt under incredibly undue pressure, the directors, the board, right from the particularly the CFO, to deliver money quickly. And there's a crisis in the flow of money through the national office, and they're insisting that KPFK has a substantial debt, and which I really want to see the paperwork on that one. And so they were demanding extra money from us, and so more money does get made in those hours when they're preempted, and that's just an objective fact. So it was going to be done earlier, this fund drive, than previous, which was also the case with the Global Village shows. I did want to say something though that is important, I think, relative to one of the great weaknesses of the station, and I take responsibility for KPFK's programming. I have to. I'm not going to try to shun that. However, I think it's pretty clear to people if they know the history, especially the last few years, that general managers can decide to make decisions over to the head of the program director or not. And so with 7 different general managers, and sorry, coalitions or factions, from one coalition, the next coalition, one coalition, the next coalition, the thing just gets tacked back and forth this way, that way. There's no cohesion to it. There's no general plan that can be developed for the programming of the station when the next boss you're going to have is going to come in with a strong vision for programming, overrule you, and take things in a particular direction. One of the incredible weaknesses, and actually, somebody criticized the news department, and Ernesto Arce does a good job of bringing in voices in English language from, again, the plurality communities of Southern California, which are Latino. Having said that, the English language programming, there's an incredible dearth of Latino hosts, and I was as upset, or maybe more upset, about losing Antonio Gonzalez as an English language programmer than just about anybody. I've worked with Antonio, and I had a close working relationship, and of course he is one of the most networked people inside Southern California politics at this hour, and given his relationship to the work he does professionally with the Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, and he's also a radical. He's an unapologetic advocate for both the Cuban and Venezuelan revolutions, and yet he maintains this positive working relationship with I suppose the left wing of the Southern California Democratic Party, among other forces within electoral politics. And so, I thought this guy, my God, this guy's perfect for KPFK, and I loved working with him. Unfortunately, he got upset by a decision that was made over my head about 8 months ago, and now I'm back in dialogue with trying to bring him back in. But again, we really do need to strengthen the programming. And then this goes to the broader point, which is I do think, for all of our programming, with the exceptions of things, of course, paid staff has a different relationship to their programming than non-paid staff, versus the union in particular. But I do think we need much more rapid turnover in our programming. And one of the things I'd like to see is, certainly more focus on the politics of Southern California over airwaves, localism in that regard. but also Latino voices in English too.
One last question.
Public comments, please.
Thank you.
Comments.
We have one more person on the stack, then we're going to go to public comments. Thank you. Steve?
Adam, I have two really quick points with you.
Microphone.
Mike, Steve. Way down there, yonder. Thank you. Two quick questions. Number one, who do you believe should be in charge of what is broadcast on KPFK? And the second question is, what programming should we be adding to increase our listenership and hopefully to increase our contributions?
The second question is, that's just such a broad question because you can imagine you can take things in so many different directions. I certainly,
where would you take it?
Well, I think the moment is very particular, the response to the crisis of Donald Trump's presidency. I mean, I think you'd have to have your head in the sand not to recognize that that's the hand to play that will draw the largest listenership to us at this moment.
Great opportunity.
Yeah, incredible opportunity. But that also goes to, the last point I made. Trump was propelled to the presidency by a white racist reaction against, the growth of Latino power and influence in American society. And Southern California is, ground zero for that. And, if we could do the kind of programming that, really was able to do, just imagine the best possible radio reportage on how that plays out in real people's lives here in Southern California. That would be phenomenal. There's so many things that would work. That I think is the broad point I made first. I think is the strongest hand at the moment. And again, it has to be a mix of local voices and national voices. And it would be good if whoever's making the decisions had the confidence of the communities that are involved in the station to make the decisions so they can be made relatively rapidly.
A lot of people that are here today are about to spend, no, I'm continuing this, I didn't use my full 70 seconds. A lot of the people that showed up today are concerned about the Spanish programming inordinately. So who determines what gets put on as a program? It seems like it's just the program director's decision right now with influence from the general manager and from the national board. And I think that's too much pressure on your shoulders. How would you improve that?
I don't think that's been true.
Determining what is programmed.
Look, when I share with the board the thing I wrote in that I think shows should have a set 2-year limit. And if they don't establish themselves as big hits within that time, the incoming programmers should recognize that that's the drop dead date when they're gone. And we can try to again revitalize and bring in new programming. Again, that's a language neutral comment. And no, I would say I've never made a move on the programming grid that isn't approved by the general manager. And certainly Leslie Radford was the most proactive general manager in terms of making programming calls over my head. So yeah, if the general manager, it's very clear from the definition of program directors within the Pacifica structure. These are top-down pyramids. Every department, whether it's operations, subscriptions, the buck stops at the general manager's desk.
Can that be improved on program selection?
I don't know what you mean by that, but
other than the program director making the top-down decision.
Okay.
No, the general manager's the
Okay. I have
15 minutes left.
My kingdom for a cup of coffee.
So we have till about 12:22 for public comments. We can take the next public comment.
Hello. Thank you for giving us the space to listen to us today. My name is Lucha Peraza. I am a part of Radio Maíz, which is one of the new Spanish radio programs. And I just wanted to make an answer to what is being said here today, that we are hearing that Pacifica does not require shows to raise a certain amount of money, and that on top of that, they do also remove the Spanish programs when it is time to raise money. But aside from that, we have been able to capture some money from our listeners. Throughout all the Spanish programs together, we did raise about $5,000 to $6,000 through all of the call-in. But remember that this does not include any of the online donations because there's been a lot of issues with being able to capture that money. So again, this is with them taking us off of the air. We still have been able to capture about $5,000 to $6,000 alone from just calling in donations. On top of that, as Pacifica stipulates, we do reflect our community and we are in our community. Something that we do which is unique to the Spanish programs is that we come together, all 30 volunteers, to put on events in the community that are for and by our people. These events have also raised money for the station, totaling to about $20,000 that the Spanish radio stations have brought together through events in the community. And let's remember that this is only year one, so this can be exponentially raised in the next coming year.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Carlos Amador. I'm a long-time radio listener. I've been listening since 2006, and I have contributed throughout as well for the station. And actually, I mean, for myself, I listen to the Spanish programming. I listen to the English one as well. I don't usually pick when I make the donation, so oftentimes that's in the morning when I'm like more awake, etc. And so I do want to recognize that even though maybe the donation is not counted under the night shift for the Spanish-speaking programming, it's important for us to count that many folks do listen throughout and support the Spanish-speaking. I think the other important comment that I wanted to raise is that back in 2006 when I started listening to the radio station, especially Fernando Velázquez and Informativo Pacifica, back when I was undocumented, and when I remember driving in the morning, 5:30 I think was the show, I'm driving with my mom, and my mom's asking like why are they talking about this other countries' wars and stuff, and me able to have that conversation with her about the importance of recognizing the humanity in other parts of the world. That's something we don't get in Univision, we don't get in Telemundo, we get it in Spanish-speaking media, so thank you.
Hello, my name is Annette Aguilar, and I'm co-producer of Radio Maíz, and I do want to let you know that I have been a listener sponsor for many years, and I've been donating, especially during the morning, whatever you guys have, premiums, because I do listen a lot to the Aware Show, is one of the shows I do. That does not mean whatever money I have been contributing to KPFK is only recognized that I only care for the English programs. There is a lot of community out there that is Latino and listens to the English, and they do care for the Spanish as well. So don't think that you're representing the money that we give, that we don't care for the Spanish. I do want to say that what the LSB and the PMB is practicing is called exclusion. They want to make Pacifica English only again. Our demand is to stop this racist attacks. As listeners, members, and volunteers, we demand a reversal of the latest decision to eliminate 5 hours in Spanish at Pacifica Radio.
10 seconds.
We also demand the resignation of 3 members of the local and national board, which is Grace right here for everyone to know. This is the lady over here that has voted to take out the 5 hours. We want you to please, we want recognition from you. Resignation from you.
Right here.
My name is Ruben Tapia. I'm director of Enfoque Latino at KPFK, 30 years volunteer programmer. The last year we were here standing from you asking support because KPFK needs to be on the community, and that's what we have been doing the last year. With a minimum support on the air, because some people inside the station blockade what we are trying to do at KPFK. We are very aware of the need. A stronger KPFK is the reason that we are here. And we have social media. We are right now live in social media because we know the importance. So we are putting our hearts because our community is under attack. So please let us do our work. Let's work collaboratively, because this is our station, this is our country too, okay? So please, put that on your mind. We want better programming, and we want support, full support for our station. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ramon Andrade from East LA Committee. Okay, the best thing we have on media, that's KPFK right now, but the administration needs to develop your conscience. You cannot go down, I mean, not even stop. You have to develop your conscience. The 99% needs to know the truth, you know. We wish to give more money to the KPFK because we know that it's needed, but we are low income, but we wish to be, to give better, but we need the truth because somebody mentioned the Latin America is suffering oppression from the government, and the Spanish-speaking in media don't say the truth. And we've been oppressed, like an example right now in Mexico, okay, so the thing is that the trouble that we are in is because the U.S. involvement in the Latin America, especially in Mexico, supporting the fraud right now.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Concepción Gómez. Yo represento una organización que se llama Inmigrantes Unidos en Resistencia.
Good morning, my name is Concepción Gómez and I represent an organization called Inmigrantes Unidos en Resistencia.
Sí. Yo he contribuido con mi organización con dinero a la KPFK y merecemos nuestras horas en español. Y la actitud, luego se mira la actitud de las personas tan racistas que están en esta reunión.
Cierto. I have contributed, and my organization as well has contributed financially to KPFK, and we deserve our hours in Spanish. And I have to observe the racist attitude I have seen from this board.
Exactly.
Yeah. 10 seconds.
Buenos días, mire, yo soy una radioescucha desde hace 25 años, escucho la KPFK.
Good morning, I have been a KPFK listener for 25 years.
Y siempre he cooperado con la estación. Y a mí no se me hace justo que ustedes quieran quitar la programación en español, porque desde que yo me acuerdo, esto está para toda la comunidad de habla hispana, de español y en inglés, pero ese era el propósito de esta estación.
I have contributed to KPFK. I don't think it's fair that Spanish language programming be eliminated or cut, because this is a resource for all of the community, not just the English-speaking community.
Y yo quisiera preguntarles, ¿tienen buena administración? Porque es con la única que yo me pudiera quejar, porque siempre manda mis donaciones demasiado tarde, que a veces se me juntan hasta 2, y los regalos nunca los entregan, que a mí no me interesa que entreguen los regalos, sino que mantengan la programación en el aire en español.
I'd like to ask about how donations are managed. Many times I will get a bill very late, way past the fund drive, sometimes 2 bills at a time. Premium deliveries are an issue, but that is not an issue for me. I want Spanish language programming on the air.
Y creo que hay algo oscuro en esto y que se investigue, porque no es justo lo que están haciendo. Y las personas que son racistas enseguida se ve. La señora que está aquí enfrente de mí, en cuanto me vio me quiso remover de ahí de donde yo estaba parada. Yo no tengo la culpa que venga mucha gente aquí y que tenemos el derecho a expresarnos.
Well, I think there's something fishy about what's going on in relation to the premiums and in general. Racism is blatant when it's there. This lady sitting over there, as soon as she saw me in the room, she tried to remove me. It's not my fault. It is not my fault that the room is full. Thank you.
Point of order.
Translation takes more time, sir.
Point of order.
Noted, thank you.
Can we add 15 seconds to the translation?
Yes.
I'm adding, don't worry, I'm very liberal with the minutes for the public.
Bueno, en primer lugar, no vamos a permitir que nos quiten la programación en español. O sea, vamos a permitirlo, no vamos a permitirlo.
We are not going to allow for the Spanish language programming to be removed.
We want you to know, right? If we have to take, the radio station, we will. We don't care.
That's right.
That's our radio station. It's not yours. Don't you understand? It's a community radio. It's a big difference, right? And secondly, I think you should read the bylaws. That's why the bylaws are given to you. Well, you're supposed to read it. Deben de leer las reglamentaciones que tenemos. Parece que no las leen. So, it establishes that you, the local station board, should actively reach out to underrepresented communities to help the station serve a diversity of all races, creeds, colors, and nations, classes, genders, and sexual orientations. Can you explain me when have we
10 seconds.
seen you doing that? ¿Me puede explicar cuándo han hecho eso? Y ustedes, señores que son mexicanos, porque usted también parece mexicano. Cuidado con que se junte con estos racistas, porque estos no nos quieren para nada, ¿no? Estos son los que nos quieren sacar de la radicalización. Y nos vamos a pelear, ¿no? And we are asking, and we are demanding that the races at this board, at the national board, be kicked out from the foundation. They are in flagrant violation of the bylaws. Están violando la... Pónganse truchas, compas. Hay que pelear por lo que somos, por nuestra identidad. Ya sacaron los compas negros.
Yes, my name is Tom, and I guess I have a little bit of a background in entertainment and show business. And I think, Alan, if you're looking for something to do, one thing would be to train people on how to use the microphones in this room. Because we got one gentleman who has to go and hold it like this and talk like, and it doesn't work. Steve Kaiser comes across great, some of the others, and I got to agree with Mila. Don't bang the old stand down on the table because it just reverberates through here. And you got the sound way too loud, and you should take that mother hand away from that soundboard. He's got no, it is absolutely relevant. He's got no reason to sit there and monitor it like a mother hen.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tanaya Dunlap. I'm with the Rapid Response Network from the Inland Empire, Riverside, and San Bernardino County. I just want to emphasize how important the Spanish language radio programs are for the community out there. As you know, we have a very, very large Spanish-speaking community out in San Bernardino and Riverside counties, and there is very little material available for them in Spanish. So the Spanish language programs with the KPFK are extremely important to that community. I myself work with immigrant families. We give information on your rights. We respond to raids and deportations. And we have spoken on KPFK radio programs in Spanish to give the community this important information. There are no other programs that do this, that give space to give the community this important information. So I strongly urge you to keep all the hours of Spanish programming on air. Thank you.
Muy buenos días, buenas tardes a todos ustedes. Mi nombre es Homero Lobato. Soy parte de la red de respuesta inmediata, Rapid Response Network from Riverside and San Bernardino County. Y bueno, el día de hoy estoy aquí presente para apoyar a la comunidad inmigrante, hablo hispana parlante. Tenemos que seguir teniendo la radio en español. El programa es especialmente para nuestra comunidad. Hoy en día lo necesitamos más que nunca.
Good morning. I'm here to support our community and Spanish language programming. Today we need it more than ever.
La radio, yo en lo particular la vengo escuchando por más de 15 años. Esta estación es bien importante. Me siento yo muy familiarizado con esta estación de radio.
I've been listening to this radio station for over 15 years. It's very important. I feel that I'm very familiar with it.
Para mí y para toda la comunidad que escuchamos esta radio es muy importante, más que nunca en estos tiempos del racismo, el odio y el rencor que tienen en contra de nuestra comunidad inmigrante.
For me and for my community, this radio is more important than ever, given the racist, xenophobic attacks that our community is under.
Les pedimos, por favor, que sigan respetando el radio en español y que den más oportunidad y más tiempo, más horas para que sigamos apoyando a nuestra comunidad.
We ask, I ask that you respect Spanish language radio and that you give us more time to dedicate to issues that are important to our community in Spanish.
Hi everyone, my name is Sylvia Hernandez and I am coming from Orange County, from Santa Ana. And I am here because I am a listener and a member of Pacifica, long-time listener since the 90s, started the 90s. And I've been working with the community, my community, as myself, as low-income worker. And this has been very helpful. KPFK has been very helpful for me and my community to educate ourselves, to be here in this country, our place is now, because we work here, we live here, we study here, we have been here for many years and contributing to this great nation. And I feel now that Trump is here, has got us in KPFK. Please, don't allow that. We have to keep Trump out of California and out of KPFK. Thank you.
Okay, I want to note that I have given extra time because of the Spanish language programming. The Spanish language speaking translation. Right, this is going to be the last person for this session. We will have more public comments later.
Thank you, sir. My name is Emma Torres, and I come from San Fernando Valley, and I am a new listener. I've been listening for 6 months, and I've been very happy. But lately, I hear, they're gonna shut down the Spanish program, and I think it's not fair, sir. Please, I asking you, and all the directors or whatever, consider the Spanish programs are very important. Why? Because a lot of people, we don't have the opportunity to go to school after working 10, 12, 14, 15, 16 hours. It's very hard to go to school and learn some English. It's my case. And then when I come at 9 o'clock to my place, because in my work it's not allowed to hear, programs, because it's discrimination. It's discrimination. And maybe you guys discriminate Spanish people, but don't judge us that awful, in the awful way. Because if we haven't had the opportunity to go to school to learn good English, it's because we haven't had the opportunity. So maybe because you guys never eaten good tamales and good chile rellenos, but I'm more than happy to cook for you guys and see it. And don't have the awful opinion about my people. Thank you. Thank you. I don't think about it all the programs, because in all the radio station they talk just trash. In Pacifica Radio talk good programs in Spanish. And please, I'm talking in the name of all my people, not just me, because bunch of them are to speak out and not allow us. Please, sir, please.
Okay, this is our community. This is the community that we do have.
Southern California.
You say we don't have community? No, Alan, we'll move the community if we have to. If you try to impose that, motion to remove the Spanish language programming, we will stop it. If you want to do that, and we'll have a campaign. We have a campaign to remove the races. I don't
Don't violate civil rights and human rights. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't violate civil rights and human rights. Don't do it.
Thank you so much for your comments. We appreciate it.
Hay una petición para sacar a los racistas. There is a petition to remove the racists from here.
Yes, it's a great Sarah
Public
and John
comments are over. We will have another session for public comments later. I would just like
They're
to,
toxic to
as I said, I wanted to make a commentary after this. I am a little disturbed about hostile statements that have been made against board members.
Forgive me.
Canceling
What
5 hours is
saying?
hostile.
Hostile? You're being racist, my friend. Están siendo racistas.
Who told you?
Well, you're racist and you're afraid of hostile. You're aligning with Trump. What are you talking about? You're kicking a lot of people from the radio station, your friends, and you're saying that we are hostile to you?
It's not true. Okay. It's not true.
Okay, Chair, point of order. Let's not. Chair, point of order, Chair. Chair, point of order. Thank you for your comments. We will have another public comment.
Nosotros estamos siendo atacados. Nosotros estamos siendo atacados. We are being attacked. We are being attacked. Our community, not only by Donald Trump, but now their allies here.
Pacifica.
Donald Trump allies
Now,
are
if you
here.
will respect me while I make my comment. Thank you.
5 hours, it's still on. The motion passed, but the show is still on. So what does that tell you? They tell you that Alan's not in a hurry to cancel. People are telling you lies. People are making you
Ahora 30 horas y a nosotros
Me parece una mentira.
5 horas. Eso es injusto. Eso es racismo.
Translate that, please.
Can we have a moment?
If Alan wanted to cancel the show, it'd already be gone. It's still on the air. Remember, it's still on the air, right? That passed, but it's
I think
still
the
on
board
the
is
air.
silent.
Give him some credit.
They're not helping.
Yeah,
The board should be silent at this time.
the board is silent, except for us. Okay, thank you. We respectfully listen to over a half hour of public comments. Now, if you can allow us to continue with our business, we would appreciate it.
It's our business too.
Yes, it is, and it's your business through us, so if you could respect us and allow us to take care of this, it would be appreciated. I just want to say, as I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted, that I have concerns about hostile statements that have been made against some of our board members. I think that it's short-sighted and, dare I say, ignorant to accuse our board members, which include African American, Iranian, and Jewish directors on the national board, to accuse them of being racist. So I just felt that I needed to make that comment. With that, I would like to move on with our board business, directors' reports. And I would like to acknowledge my appreciation of our board members that have not gotten into back and forth with a lot of these hostile comments, and I appreciate our board members not
Point of order, Chair.
engaging.
Point of order, Chair.
You're out of order.
No, I'm not. I think you're out of order. I think you're out of order for making that accusation that you are making. Okay?
Don't be
People are
biased.
holding people accountable
Yes.
We will
for their actions as board members.
Lawrence, you're out of order.
You're out of order
Thank you.
too.
We are moving on to directors' reports. Yes, please go ahead.
That's the person,
Jen?
people. It's Aes.
Hello. Thank you for taking me somewhat out of order because I have to leave, so
That's
right
right.
after this report, I actually was supposed to leave already for another meeting. So, first of all, I think the national board is having to deal with a very large problem that has been put off for many years, and that is a debt to the Empire State Building. Just as a little history on that, WBAI in New York had its transmitter in the Empire State Building for many years, and after 9/11, when our lease came up, they jacked up the rent to $50,000 a month, and it was literally the only place to go, sort of like war profits, the only place to go, and what happened was it incurred debt to WBAI and thus to all of Pacifica month by month up to the point where it is now, which is about $1.2 million plus interest, which makes it about $2 million. And this is a very, very serious problem. And also, in addition to that, many stations have not brought in a lot of money. And so we're facing having to deal with this debt in a really serious way. And for the last couple of years, the National Board did not deal with this. And so we're sort of stuck with this major debt, and we're trying to figure out how to raise the money. And what this may end up being is, you know, possibly selling assets. We're doing everything that we can to not close any of our stations. There's some people in Berkeley who want to just close up certain stations entirely, and we're trying to make our best efforts to get our money together to be able to do that. As a result of that, so we're seeking to do a number of different things, and I want to address the issue that's been that people are struggling with today, and it's a very important and significant issue, the issue of Spanish language radio in Los Angeles. And we're trying to give the station managers and the program directors as many tools as they can to raise money and to keep the stations afloat, because if we don't, we're not going to have English language broadcasting at KPFK, we're not going to have Spanish language broadcasting at KPFK or anywhere. We're going to have no broadcasting if we can't raise the money to stay afloat. And so one of the tools that was requested and which I, with great difficulty, but I felt that this is an important thing, made this motion to give the station managers and the program directors the option, and I was trying to read this before, but I'll read it now. And it basically, what it says is that it gives the program directors and the management to use their best efforts to air mission-driven programming. Many people spoke today about the mission, and this is why I'm involved in KPFK, and I'm sure it's why most people are in this room, is because we want to see the mission carried out. And we need to expand our listenership, and that includes our Spanish-speaking listenership, and it includes our English-speaking listenership also. And it gives the station managers and the program directors the flexibility to determine whether or not to institute or retain or to add 5 hours of additional Spanish language programming at each station. And that is the gist of it. It is not taking away, it's not saying that they can't use this time for Spanish language programming. And in fact, one of the things that I think is very important that's recognized is to increase English language programming also that is addressed to the Latinos in Southern California. So, so that, you know, I just wanted to address those issues. There's also been, just so everyone knows, one of the other issues that is facing the National Board is that there was a lawsuit filed by Sharon Brown, who we all of course know, and Afia Nwangaza, who was the affiliate director and Adriana Cazenave, and it's versus Pacifica and David Beaton and Mansour Sabah. So anyway, I just wanted to, that's my report, and I'm really sorry that I have to go, but I have another meeting that I have to attend, and I can't, I'm already late for that, but I wanted to stay and hear everyone's comments and take them down, because I do think a lot of the comments were important, and I agree with Myla that what we need to do, forward promotion for lots of programs, but especially including the Spanish language programming, because we do have Spanish-speaking people listening to English language programming, and so if we got a heads up for that during the day, so people knew, okay, at night there's going to be this or that or the other, or at this other time, it would be important. So I think that's one of the things that can be instituted, should be able to be instituted immediately. They don't need to wait until, they get other programmers or anything else. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jen. And I'm taking it that you won't be able to take questions because you have to leave?
I'd like to ask a
Well, I
question.
mean, if we could take it out of order and people wanted to ask the questions now.
Okay, I will allow that. Lawrence, you have a question?
Yes, I have two questions. First question is, why did you blindside this board? Or maybe some on that side might have already known that you were going to make this motion. But apparently, in the main meeting, you did not mention anything of this nature as this being an issue, and all of a sudden the motion was made. I called, I emailed you with my phone number. I don't have your phone number, so I cannot call you. I emailed you with my phone number, which is 310-460-8586. 310-460-8586. Anybody could call me. 460-8586.
And I'll give you mine.
Right, and then the second question is, why didn't you disseminate that report that you just read, knowing how impactful and controversial it would be to the rest of the board members?
Okay, so first of all,
Mike?
First of all, at the May meeting, I had no plan to, I don't think, to make that motion. That motion was written probably the day or two at most before I actually presented the motion. I mean, this is a...
And what was your rationale, if you could just...
What was the rationale?
Talk to me like I'm a 4-year-old.
I mean, I thought I just explained it, that we are struggling with, we are really struggling financially, and we need to be able to do, to maximize the amount of money that we have as income while continuing to fulfill our mission. And that is the reason, and despite what some people said about tens of thousands of dollars coming from the Spanish language programming, that has not actually, the fundraising, paperwork doesn't reflect it. And I understand, as many people said, I understand that many people don't, I listen to programs like day and night, and if I'm donating, I can't say, attach it to this, that, and the other. So I understand that people may listen to one thing or listen to 10 things, but they only donate at one point. But that, that's one of the things.
Okay.
Why didn't I pass out? I'm sorry. Why didn't I pass out what? Why didn't you? My whole speech that I just made, because I didn't have it all written down.
We're out of time.
Okay, Rick, you got a question?
The motion, if you'd like me to.
Well, I think everybody should have had a copy of it.
That's right.
And listeners should have been.
I had two that I passed out to the listeners.
Okay, we need to move on.
Okay.
Mr. Hernandez, you got a question?
Yes. My question goes also to Jen. Before she leaves, I know you gotta go really quick. Thank you. Jen, in this question, there are two. One is very simple, the other one, you can just elaborate before you leave. Are you aware that the Spanish programmings that are owned by corporates are doing much better off right now?
I'm sorry.
Are you aware that the corporate Spanish media are doing very well off right now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Why didn't you approach the Spanish programmers and see if maybe there could be a way to bring those listeners and those supporters of those Spanish media shows to KPFK when there is an excellent programming in Spanish that can support KPFK and get not just KPFK out of debt, but the other 5 stations, instead of eliminating those 5 hours, when there could have been other ways to approach the listeners and as well as the programmers. And in that sense, one of your arguments were Pacifica is in debt. Only KPFK implemented those 5 new hours in Espanol. And in Washington, D.C. was only 3 hours that got implemented. Other than that, the other KPFKs, the other Pacifica stations never implemented those hours.
Yeah.
Just to correct.
10 years. Never implemented.
So, why I didn't approach the Spanish language programmers?
Yes, as part of also a board member.
I actually,
You didn't want that.
it's not, if I approached the Spanish language programmers and spoke to them and told them or suggested to them that they do something different, I would have expected that they would have been very insulted and angry that I had the nerve to come and tell them what to do and how to do it. It's my assumption that every programmer, including Spanish language programmers, are trying to reach as large an audience as possible and follow our mission. So, for me to say to anybody, oh, you should do this or that or the other, I would feel, since I am not a programmer, I would feel that...
It seems you use alternative facts.
Okay.
Alternative facts, it's a speech,
Let's not have crosstalk.
Okay, I'm
Just try and
sorry.
answer your question.
That's what I can say. in
Okay,
terms
thank
of
you.
response.
90 seconds. One more.
I'm going to caution you to please be respectful in speaking with Jan Fernando.
90 seconds left in this segment.
With all due respect, using the thinking of a fisherman, if I go fishing with there 6 million fishes below my boat, what type of fishing and utensils and nets or fishing rods, whatever I'm going to use, to get all the massive extraction of fish potentially below my ship. What if I go fishing with there's 220 fishes? That's what happens at radio stations on the peak hours. There's millions of people in the freeway listen to the radio. When we broadcast in Spanish, there's just a few people. Everybody went home watching television and sleeping because first generation Latinos had to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning, so they go to bed early.
Yeah, it's true.
Now,
It's true, sir.
since the potential to maximize the amount of money, since we're so desperate, why not raise the bar and the quality of the programming on the peak hours, so those 8 hours of peak hours every day, raise all the money we need and leave the Latinos alone?
Do you want to respond to that?
Well, first of all, I don't disagree with anything you say in terms of, obviously if there's more fish in the pond, more people are possible, so I'm not going to argue with that. I will say that, that Roy Tuckman, Roy of Hollywood, he comes on at the most obscure hours that you would think nobody was listening to radio, and he...
That's 24 hours.
Per week. But even in his short hours when he has less time, he raises a lot of money. So, but I don't argue with you at all in terms of, obviously the time that somebody is on the show on the airwaves is very important. Can't argue with that.
Jan,
Okay, so thank you very much.
Why you did not communicate with the Spanish Language Association for some
Yeah,
reason?
Grace, Grace,
It wouldn't have hurt.
you're giving your director's report now?
Yeah, if there's any time.
Yes.
Okay. The first thing that's very important is that the audit committee, the National Audit Committee, hired an audit firm after a significant search for an audit firm. And the audit for 2015 has started. The California Attorney General extended our deadline to August 27th to complete the 2015 audit. It's very important because if we don't complete it by August 27th, we most likely will lose our nonprofit status, or at least that is the threat. So the National Board has many very pressing issues that we've had to deal with. Most of them financial. So, for instance, the negotiations with the Empire State Building are very dire. We have been in arrears. We owe the Empire State Building $2.1 million. They may press us for that money. It's unclear at the moment. But if they do, we may wind up in bankruptcy. That's why on the National Board, our attention has been focused to a great extent on finances and on trying to fix them. I'm trying to think of the other things that have happened on the National Board. It's mainly been board members trying to grapple with a very dire financial situation happening. So, for instance, the national office is owed over $800,000 by various stations across the network. 3 of the stations are hardly paying any amount of money to the central services. There is no longer directors and officers insurance for the National Board. There are a lot of very, very dire situations happening. 2 of the stations, KPFT and WPFW, have very big financial shortfalls in terms of their income. Their fund drives haven't been doing well. WBAI has had a small uptick in income, well, a significant actually uptick in income in the last year. However, it's still not sustainable because of the $50,000 per month that WBAI has to pay to transmit its signal. In New York, just to give you a little brief understanding of this, in New York, in order to have, for this signal to be heard, it has to be, the transmitter has to be on the tallest building or very high up. So, when in 2001, when 9/11 happened, the transmitters were mainly on the top of the Twin Towers. So after the Twin Towers disappeared, the only game in town was the Empire State Building. So we signed a 15-year contract. It was not a very good contract, but I don't know the circumstances. I wasn't around at that time. The contract, now we owe $50,000 a month in order for WBAI to transmit. There are other opportunities in the New York area because now the World Trade Center has been built. So it's possible to transmit from another location at a much lower amount, probably $12,000 to $17,000 per month, which is still a big amount of money. But that $50,000 a month is really sinking WBAI. So these are very serious financial problems that the National Board has been facing. The national office is woefully understaffed. There's a lot of work to do and a lot of problems to be resolved. If we focus mainly on financial issues, it's because they are so dire at the moment that there may not be a Pacifica. Right now, there's a lot of talk at the KPFA by people like you, community members who feel that KPFA is strong and would do better outside of the network. I care about the entire network, not just KPFK. If we were to break up into and have each station be independent, KPFK would be sustainable and KPFA would be sustainable. The 3 other stations would probably cease to exist if they were cut off and on their own. That's the bottom line. I feel strongly in Pacifica. I believe strongly in Pacifica. I think we need to figure out a way to keep KPFT going, WPFW going in Washington, D.C., and WBAI going in New York City. These are important demographically. These are huge metropolitan areas with huge potential audiences. So the stress and the things that are happening on the national board level are very significant. It takes a lot of time. National board members are very stressed when it comes to dealing with these problems, which you are not aware of. So I will take questions if you have any.
Grace, when is that lease up at the Empire State Building?
The lease runs, the lease with the Empire State Building runs for 3 more years till 2020, and the monthly rate keeps increasing.
Okay, I'm going to take a stack. Fernando, Lawrence, I'm going around this way. Richard. Okay, Fernando.
With all due respect, Ray Sharon, WPFW started with the 3 hours of the 5 hours. It's uncertain what the reaction is going to be upon the motion that you guys approved about dismantling those 3 hours as well. They have a very serious financial problems. The Central American community is quite large there, but they're not really serving that community. So in following one of the rules of capitalism, you run away from investments, you run away from profits. In the case of New York City and Houston, a very, very significant percentage of the population is Latino, but they are obsessed about not incrementing, not increasing the Spanish language programming to serve that community. Yeah. So again, run away from investment, run away from profits. What do you say to that?
Is that a question?
Yes.
What do you say to that, question mark?
Okay, I say to that is this. In Los Angeles, for instance, where the Latino population is at least 50%, and probably I believe per the census, 1/3 of that population is Spanish only, 1/3 is English only, and another third is bilingual. In a demographic of this area, the Spanish language broadcasting should have higher listenership and bring in more members and more donations. What that says to me is that, and I've heard this verified by Spanish speakers, that the programming itself really needs improvement.
No.
Okay? And I don't know. I am not going to, I'm saying that, and you
show the research.
And I think that Ricardo, I think you brought up a very good possibility, which is seeing if we can get high-quality Spanish language broadcasting, the rights to air it on KPFK. I think you should see if you can get proposals of that nature, and that can be reviewed. I think that the financial situation, do you know that KPFK, from years past, owes about $240,000 to the national office? This is central services that were never paid. This is from 2015 and 2014. If you want to be on the finance committee, the other thing I have to say about this is that of the minority communities who've been on our boards, there has been no talk of inclusion when it comes to the Persian-speaking community, the Asian speakers, that's Chinese, Thai, Vietnamese speakers, the Armenian speakers, Russian speakers. You're talking about, you're acting as an interest group, not speaking about diversity, because you're not speaking about the inclusion of all these other populations. Asians are at least 14% of the population of Southern California. Should we have Chinese programming in Chinese, in Mandarin? And, well, okay, why don't you, why isn't a committee formed to figure out how to serve all these different demographics. Should we have programming in Arabic? How are we going to serve a real diversity of communities in Southern California, and how are we going to pay for it? The plan has to include looking at the finances and looking at the revenue that's brought in for these hours. You can't, you have to be serious about managing a network, not just saying, I want. You have to say, I will, and I will contribute, and I will plan, and I'll have sensible ideas for having Pacifica survive for the future. And right now, we're in a financial crisis. And we need to figure out how to get out of the how to sustain ourselves financially. That's what's on the table right now.
We volunteer.
Thank you, Grace. Grace, I'll put you on the stack. Lawrence, you're next.
Yes, it always strikes me when someone with white privilege talks about the divisions among
Let's be respectful, Lawrence.
I'm making my
That's not disrespectful. Speaking truth.
It doesn't sound respectful.
Okay, well, it doesn't sound to you. I'm not gonna eat my words.
Okay, well, I'm going to admonish you.
Okay, thank you for the admonishment. So that strikes me as divide and conquer, first of all, because someone who's living in the lap of luxury somewhere, and all of a sudden makes a blanket statement that, the reason why Spanish language programming was cut, or the justification why the Spanish language programming was cut, is because it doesn't address other interest groups. If they want to raise their voice, they will raise their voice as well. And then they will become not an interest group, but a stakeholder. There's a difference between an interest group and a stakeholder. You could categorize it any way you can. That's definitely a bias. I understand the pressure that you're going through, Grace. I've been at a national board. I understand the pressures that happen there. But are you saying that your cost-cutting measures included the Spanish language, 5 hours of Spanish language programming?
Time. I think it's a question for you, Grace.
The motion regarding the Spanish language broadcasting has nothing to do with that particular motion has nothing to do with cost-cutting measures. That's all. Is there any other questions?
Asked and answered. Mr. Macias, you have a question for our director, Grace?
Yes. Thank you, Grace. You pointed out a couple of things that I wrote down. First of all, demographics is true. The Latino population is growing in the U.S. and in fact, just in Los Angeles, the Latino youth became already the majority. I was previous to the beginning of the meeting. Roberta asked something very important: to better our website, and eventually our programmer director also said to better our social media. Well, in fact, the Spanish programming last year raised $20,000 in 5 public events, not counting the money that was raised at the fundraisers. The Latino, and it's true, we gotta find ways to approach not just the Latinos, but as well as Asian Americans, African Americans, Native Americans, and I don't think it's a coincidence that the other Pacifica stations in all these major cities are struggling. It's because there is a lack of representations of minorities there, especially the programming.
Is it the question?
Well, my question is, how can we work that out? How can we sit down and, as you come out with the idea, is find a ways to find committees? But I guess it also comes from the directors as well. KPFK, the director and the programmer too.
I think that everyone here should start thinking of solutions. Should start thinking of how, first of all, I think it's fantastic that $20,000 was raised. However, the last fund drive raised $707,000. The percentage of $20,000 $707,000 divided by $20,000 is a small percentage.
But we're non-paid staff. We're non-paid staff.
Okay,
please, no cross-talk from the
I'm not
audience.
paid staff either when I'm in the phone booth.
Excuse me.
Okay, so these are problems. We have this incredible resource of many minority communities in Southern California, perhaps you might think about the text to donate, because the lower income communities may not have even $25. I mean, you know, there were times in my life where I didn't have, I mean, it's disposable income. I didn't have, it was either get my kids' teeth fixed or donate to something. I didn't donate too much. So, but if you care about something, you'll donate a little bit. So maybe you want to work on the text to donate, to have people donate $4 or $5 from your community. That may be a way to significantly increase the donations. And when people from different lower income communities feel that they've contributed, that's a way to increase support and increase commitment. You need to start thinking about not just complaining, but thinking about solutions. You need to think within your community, listen to your own programming, see if they can be edited better so that they are higher quality, so that they generate more listenership. You have to do the very hard job of saying, this program is much better than this program, this host is much better than this host on the air, and we need to give more time to the better quality program and give less time to the poor quality program. Because when you increase your listenership, when you increase the quality of your programming in anywhere on our grids, and I say this not just about Spanish language broadcasting, I say it about every Pacifica show and every KPFK show. A lot of it needs editing. Some of it just is subpar. It needs to be removed and replaced with better programming. And I say that you need, I am solution oriented. I have to be on the national board. So I say, be solution oriented, bring solutions to the board instead of just complain.
For English programming too, these are opinions. You timing us, time is the
Lawrence, do you
all you said
understand?
for English programming too. Well, you time me, you time me,
thank
time
you,
on the
Grace.
same thing.
Raisa, you got a question?
That's
You
what
want-
I
do you
said. I
understand?
said English language programming should be
Raisa,
evaluated and improved as well.
thank you, Grace. Raisa,
Let me ask you something.
last person on the stack.
On
Raisa,
and on, you refer to minority. Minority. Who is minority? The white people are minority.
White people.
Or the Spanish program. Let me ask you the reality. They don't collect a penny. They don't collect salary. They serve their own food, gasoline, everything. Let me ask you something. Who owns the microphone? Who owns the building on Wilshire Boulevard, 40 story? We came, have demonstration there. Who owns that? That they collect $40,000 from one floor. And you talk about KPFK has financial problem. Who's the owner of that building that they make millions of dollars and you refer to, you know, financial problem? Who's the owner?
10 seconds.
Who's the owner?
Who cares?
Okay, I don't know. I don't know that that's an answer. I think we're talking about the federal government.
Why don't you answer the question? Answer the question. Why can't you answer the question? Are you the owner? Answer the question.
What's the answer? Who's the owner?
Okay.
You know so much. Why don't you know the answer?
Okay. We're going to have public comments right after the next item.
Too quiet now, lady.
The next item is location of our next meeting. As I mentioned, we're going to have to discuss that. It's not going to be automatic. I would propose, although I don't know if I should propose, maybe I need to entertain, because we spoke in governance about this. As I've mentioned a couple times already, we do not have board members here at this meeting because they don't feel safe coming to the Peace Center. Whether they're cowards or not.
Now you know how we feel, right? Now you know how we feel, right?
Have you seen our people being chased by the Negro? Have you seen the people chasing
my turn, bro. Have a seat.
my friend?
Okay.
What? They feel very safe, especially in politics. Really
So
safe.
I would entertain
Really safe.
a motion there's been discussion about having our meeting at a fire center in Hollywood.
Or the LAPD
I would entertain having our motion at the firehouse in Hollywood if we are able to reserve it for the third Sunday of next month. And if not, for us to meet here.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
We have discussion.
Well, first of all, is there any opposition to that motion? There is. So we will take 2 for and 2 against. Who would like to speak for? Who would like to speak against?
I'll speak for.
Okay, Marlena for.
Against.
Lawrence against.
Steve against.
Steve against.
I want to be.
And is there one more person
I would
for?
like to speak for, but with
Okay.
a suggestion.
And Roberta for. So I will take the fours first. Marlena.
Speak into the mic.
It's a newish venue. It's been around for a few years now. It's
Get closer to the mic.
It is centrally located in the middle of Hollywood. It's right adjacent to the 101 freeway, and it's also within a block of the bus lines. It's very easy to get to. It's also about a block away from the metro station, and it's free. And it's being provided to us by the fire station, which is happy to support KPFK. It's all positive. There's almost no negatives about this venue. So I would love to hear any reasons why you don't think this is a good idea.
Parking.
Okay. Thank you, Marlena.
Parking's
Lawrence,
an issue everywhere.
does it speak against?
I'm gonna remove
I'm going to do
myself from
for,
the.
against, for,
I'm gonna
against.
remove myself from the against now that Marlene has provided information.
I'm sorry. So
Roberta the next, I think.
we're going to go to
I'll speak against it.
Fernando. Okay.
I know the location is extremely difficult to find a place to park there. Unless you're expecting everyone to be by bus and taxi there, it's gonna be a problem.
I understand it's close to the red line?
It's right within a block of the
Not too far.
Which red
within a
line?
block
Okay,
of the red line station at Sunset at Hollywood and Western. And it also is near the 180 and 181 bus line, which is a major bus line.
Okay, Roberta?
My only comment is,
Use the microphone.
my only comment is, and I think it is a good idea, one of the things we had discussed last month was to be meeting at different places around the community so we could meet more people in different parts. That also creates people running around and emailing, I found this place, how much is it, and where, it's a lot of overhead. I really like the idea of rotating, but could I suggest that it be done quarterly? See if we can book a particular place for 3 consecutive monthly meetings, and before that last meeting, have secured the next place for consideration. Because I know different people are looking at different venues, so that every 3 months, we could meet in another part of town. Because I just got so burned out from all these suggestions. Oh, I met with so-and-so, and they might do it, but not that day, and emails back and forth. It's a waste of time.
What about
If we
East
can
LA?
book it, I'd love it to be done for 3 months, and 3 months from now, we can have ideas floated for another site.
Okay, I am always impressed with your insight and wisdom, Roberta. Thank you. Marlena, would you consider that a friendly amendment to
That's
your motion?
more than friendly.
So
And
we
if
will
somebody-
try to rent the firehouse in Hollywood
It's free.
for 3 months, or we will try to reserve it for 3 months. And if for some reason we're unable to reserve it on any of those dates, then we will meet at the Peace Center as the backup.
Yes.
Okay, that was the friendly amendment, so we
Okay.
don't need to vote on that.
Can I add that if somebody has a suggestion for East LA, we're happy to listen to it, but
Yeah,
please.
but
let
right
us
now we're
know.
talking about Hollywood, and we've spoken with them, and we're on board for that. And it's probably closer to East LA.
No.
Well, the Hollywood freeway goes right through the East LA. Okay, Steve, against.
These are facilities that really suit our needs, I think, fairly well. We got a big enough room to accommodate the board comfortably, as well as having enough seats for the audience. And have the facilities, the additional room facilities, the bathrooms are close, the parking is decent.
Internet connection?
Pardon me?
Internet connection?
Well,
can you get online there?
Well, thank you, Fernando, for your interjection there. Okay, the thing is that I think that we've weathered the storms that was going to be part of our karma to begin with the disposition of Sharon Brown and Adam Rice and Leslie Radford to a degree. I think Leslie's still somewhat sore. But, you know, the whole issue today was Spanish programming. And I think it's something we should take in stride. I think it's something we have taken in stride. And I don't think that it's a good idea. I mean, we went to the Iman Center and we got like 10 people from the audience, and I think that's rather insufficient too. The damn thing about this organization is it belongs to all of us. And we got to find some point of civility on that. And I think we haven't really done bad today. So it's a matter of weathering the storms of the recently displaced grassroots coalition. Yes, the other committee has taken power for a certain period of time. But if that doesn't work out, if we're not able to lead ourselves into solvency, then we're going to be gone. So we can handle the problems here. I think we should stay here. I think it might be charming to go to other locations occasionally, but we can't duck the issues that have been a part of our karma in taking this path. So I would like to say to stay here.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. I'm going to ask for a roll call vote on this one.
Okay, so the vote will be as follows. To vote yes means that you would like to have the next 3 meetings be at the firehouse. If to vote yes means that you would like to have the next 3 meetings be at the firehouse with this facility as a backup if we can't get the firehouse. So, Grace Aaron?
Yes.
Ken Aaron is not here. Jonathan Alexander is not here. Marlena Bond?
Yes.
Sandy Childs?
Yes.
Roberta Eidman?
Yes.
Steve Franz is not here. Jamie Gomez?
I'm going to pass and come back to me at the end.
Okay. He passes. I will come back to him. Jan Goodman is not here. Ricardo Hernandez?
I sustain.
Abstain. Ricardo Hernandez abstains. Stephen Kaiser?
No.
Doug Kriegel is not here. Maggie Lepeque is not here. Ali Lexa is not here. Barbara Murbach is not here. Ismail Para?
Point of information before I go from the chair. If I vote yes, does that mean that we would go to the fire station for 3 months, and in that period, if we're not able to find another place to go to for 3 months, then we would come back here, this is the backup? Or is it 3 months, and if we can't continue to go to the fire station, we would come back here?
Right. It's during the 3 months, if for some reason we were unable to reserve the fire station for the 3rd Sunday, then we would meet here.
But not another place?
Yeah, after 3 months, we're going to have to decide where we're going to meet.
Thank you. I abstain.
Reza Poor?
No.
Dorothy Reich is not here. Myla Reason?
I'd just like to take a privilege and say, on behalf of all the people who did not come here today because of this location, I'm going to go ahead and vote yes, although personally I would abstain.
Oh, that's uncomplicated.
That makes any
Lawrence
sense,
Reyes?
so that should be
All right,
recorded
I'm
as a
sorry.
yes.
We got it.
Lawrence Rios?
Present, not voting.
Mansour is not here. Lance Simmons?
No.
Fernando Velasquez?
No.
Lisa Wong?
No.
And I'm coming back to Jamie.
So I gotta be the tiebreaker?
Yes.
Is it time?
It's a tie. It's a
I wish to
tie.
change my vote. I wish to change my vote to a no.
Okay, Lawrence.
Well, then I will have to make it a tie and say yes.
Let's vote again.
So you're gonna take my vote?
Unless one of the abstentions wants to change their vote.
Mr. Gonzalez. I'm in. I'm right here. I'm in.
We have,
I'm in right here.
We have Ismael Parra and Richard Hernandez.
Okay, I like the parking lot. I say no.
Okay, so Ismael, do you remain abstained?
Yes.
Okay, then we will meet here for the next 3 months.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
There was for 3 months, right?
Yes,
3 months? Yeah.
Okay, here's my motion. My motion is that within the next week, all of the members of the station board be polled and be asked their opinion, and if they wish to approve of meeting at the firehouse or meeting here. I think it's unfair to exclude from this decision.
That's out of order. We already voted. Okay. I got it.
Yeah, we already voted.
Presidential elections again. He said he has it. Let him get it.
Okay, go ahead.
May I continue?
You may.
I think it's unfair to exclude from this decision the members of the board who are reluctant to move. So I would like this decision to be made within the next week by polling all of the members of the board.
Okay. We have quorum here, and I find that out of order. We passed a motion.
Thank you.
And the motion stands.
I see what you're saying there, Milo. Let's just acquiesce to meeting here next month and take up the following month at that time.
I would like to challenge the ruling of the chair.
Okay, the challenge, the ruling of the chair has been challenged. So if you, a vote of yes means that you vote to uphold my ruling. A vote of no, a vote of yes means that you uphold my ruling. You are sustaining the ruling of the chair. A vote of no means that you oppose my ruling and that we should open it up to members who are not present.
Point of order?
Yes.
What's in order, Chair, is that the body took a vote to meet here.
Yeah.
Your ruling is irrelevant at this time. So
my ruling
if she wants,
supports that ruling.
If Ms. Reason wants to make a motion, she has to notice it today, so it can be voted upon next month.
Right. I find your comment out of order. Okay. We are going to vote on sustaining the ruling of the chair.
And what's the ruling?
A request for information. What is the ruling of the chair?
The ruling of the chair is that we have quorum in the vote that we took to meet here for the next 3 months stands.
Yes.
So that's my ruling, and you're going to vote to either sustain that or not.
They don't come, they leave the board.
They got elected to be here. They're not here.
Okay. Can we do a hand vote on this one?
Yes. All right. All those who vote to uphold the rule of the chair, please raise your hand.
To meet here.
To meet.
To meet here.
To meet here.
All those who
You voted to meet here.
who vote to uphold the rule of the chair
To meet here.
to meet here next month and not hold.
That is not the ruling.
Okay, excuse me, Mila. Let me take care of this. Okay. Let me clarify this. The ruling of the chair was that.
The vote stands.
Thank you, Lance.
Yeah.
That the vote stands.
Bingo.
The vote to meet here for the next 3 months. Yes. Not to vote to meet here for the next 3 months. It's to sustain my ruling that the vote we already took stands.
Point of information.
So a yes sustained. Okay.
You don't have to stand.
Excuse me, Steve, thank you. Let's take a hand vote on that. Yes to sustain my ruling,
democracy on the
no
board.
to not sustain my ruling, and abstention or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
I count 11.
How's that possible?
Opposed?
Shares in
I count 3.
And we have 14 here, so there's no abstentions.
There was no abstention. Okay.
Can't go on my left.
But it's quorum.
Can't go on my left.
Yeah.
Public comment?
Yeah, now we do. We have time for 15 minutes for public comments.
70 seconds each, please respect other people that need to talk.
Mike,
Fred, get away from that sound system. Get away from the sound system.
Yeah, they cut off their nose to spite their face.
And I do that all the time.
Jacket.
Okay, we have public. Let's respect the public, please.
Hello, KPFK
We've not
listeners
adjourned.
and fellow comrades. Hello, board. My name is Tucker. I have a few questions to ask you. I would like to know what is the process to present a proposal to the board and to get something on the agenda? And also, who is the secretary? When is the agenda posted? When are the minutes posted from each meeting? And 501c3 was already answered. And I would like to know if there is any plan to start any form of promotion for KPFK, let alone Pacifica. Thank you. Those are questions. That's not a statement, so please feel free to answer.
Okay, normally we don't have back and forth. My answer to that would be that we do post the governance meeting, which normally meets at the KPFK station on the Thursday before this meeting. That day may change because of conflicts in schedules for people. So my suggestion would be that you check the posting for the KPFK Governance Committee and attend that to get the answers to your questions. We discussed the agenda, making the agenda for this meeting at that meeting, as well as other items on your question list.
Okay.
So become a, you can be.
I understand that, but that.
You can be a member of the Governance Committee by just showing up. We will.
Okay. So the governance meeting will take care of all the problems that we're basically having here.
Well, you can ask your questions there. That would be the appropriate venue for that.
Right. Thank you.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
My bad.
Good afternoon. I heard some really disturbing comments a little while ago when I was sitting here listening to Grace Aaron. I just want to clarify that Spanish programs are about unity, not division. She mentioned something to the effect that why are we Spanish programmers fighting for our Spanish language programming when there are other diverse communities in Los Angeles, such as the Asian community? Well, we welcome other communities to fight for space and there are programs on KPFK. We're never just about ourselves. And for you to say that that's what we call white privilege, divide and conquer mentality, that we are completely against at KPFK and especially as Spanish programmers. Another point I would like to take is very important. KPFK takes us off the air during Fund Drive, which interrupts our members. We cannot know how many members we actually have if we're always being cut out of Fund Drive time. And that is another big problem for us because our members are people who have power to vote.
10 seconds.
So we want to know why we're being taken off there. Recently we were taken off there for 3 weeks during Fund Drive. And they put English programming on instead. At least have the decency to put some Spanish shows on during Fund Drive and not English.
My name is Marta Ugarte, and I'm one of the new programs that's being taken out of my programming. It's about indigenous spirituality. And I have a couple of questions about the motion that it was passed. Specifically in the motion, it says that it was because the Spanish-speaking programs don't make enough money. And then you mentioned a couple of minutes ago that it wasn't a budget-solving issue, that the reason that we're taking away. So I wanted to know the discrepancy on that. Is it because we don't make enough money, or is it, or it's not due to budget?
Okay, I'm going to say that this is not the proper venue for that question and answer session. This is just a venue for the public to make comments.
Hello, everyone, and as I said a while ago, my name is Annette Aguilar, and I'm here representing a radio program, Radio Maíz and Radio Maíz Collective. And I'm here to defend what belongs to the Latino community, a space in Pacifica, a space in KPFK as demanded by the mission of Pacifica. Radio Maíz guarantees among the various ethnic groups in Southern California sharing a common problem, such as the lack of information to choose healthy food, free of pesticides, free of genetic engineering, and our right to healthy, nutritious food. And I'm here asking Grace Aaron, I know she can't reply to right now, why does she care about implementing more shows for health, and she is voting to eliminate the 5 hours, and one of those shows is about health. Why do English speakers in California have the right to health, and you want more of that, and you're cutting out our program when our community needs to know about GMOs and about the pesticides and why our children have autism and diabetes? I'm asking you, lady, because you're the one voting to take out our hours.
Time.
Again, I ask the public to please be respectful of our members.
Applauding is respectable, sir.
There's nothing
Okay,
disrespectful there.
please.
Hi.
Sir, continue.
This is my first time. Hope it won't be my last. I'm here because I want Pacifica to survive, period.
Thank you.
Everybody in here, I know wants that. And yet, we can't seem to be cordial to each other, listen to each other. We want our way. It seems like a selfish way of moving forward. We cannot be pulling in different directions and go forward. Just to give you an example, in the stagecoach, when you have about, I don't know how many horses pulling a stagecoach, you can't have 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever horses, they all have to pull together. You can't have them going different directions. And the reason I'm here is to suggest that we reach out to the community, all of them, especially the Hispanic because it's growing, and anybody else who wants to reach to other communities, it's great. I happen to be Hispanic, and so I'm going to try to pull them in, and not just by the radio,
10 seconds.
maybe going to the churches, sports organizations, pass out promo cards, like business cards, but they're promo cards. Anybody that I meet, I give it to them, and it's my time up. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cristina Ramírez. I'm part of the Enfoque Latino, Diálogos Culturales de Medianoche. También hago mi intervención con diálogos educativos. I feel so ashamed about this situation because one of the programs I make my volunteer hours is to try to find some place to my people indígenas from Oaxaca. So they went here, they left already because it's too long, this meeting. Pero me siento muy triste de que ustedes quieran remover estas horas.
I feel very sad that you're going to remove the hours.
Yeah, la gente está cooperando.
The people are cooperating.
Es difícil
It's very
para
difficult
nosotros
for us.
en ciertos horarios
At certain times.
tener mucho público. Pero la
To have a lot
gente,
of public.
para el public is listening to you guys. And when they have events, they invite us to share what is KPFK. And I never say, I'm KPFK, this is my program. I say, we are KPFK.
10 seconds.
So we are everyone. And the other program is about education. We try to teach our people, our community, to what is the best way to have some search about the college guys, the dreamers. So you can do that for us, guys. You can stop us. We are many around. So please, think of you, think of us, think of young people. Nosotros todos somos KPFK. Nosotros no somos nada más latinos. Estamos trabajando voluntariamente y estamos haciendo dinero para todos, para su estación, para nuestra estación. Gracias.
Okay.
Yes. I'm also a listener.
Yeah,
Before I became a board member, I was a very listener.
As a local station board member, you don't make public comments.
Nice try.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Meli y soy parte de la nueva programación de las nuevas 5 horas en español.
Good afternoon, my name is Nelly and I'm part of the new programming from the 5 hours of Spanish.
Una pregunta, yo quisiera saber si alguna de las personas que están aquí han hecho algún evento tan grande como el que nosotros hemos realizado.
I have a question. Anybody here has done an event like we have for the community?
¿Alguien puede responder? ¿Lo han hecho?
Can somebody answer? Have you done an event for the community? Can somebody answer, please?
Si nadie puede contestar, nosotros entregamos de ese evento dinero que se entregó a la gerencia con total transparencia.
We turned in that money with complete transparency to KPFK.
What event?
And we did an event, the Oaxacan event, last spring of 2016.
Creo que nadie de ustedes lo ha hecho ni para la programación que ustedes mismos defienden.
And I don't think any of you have done it for the programs you are defending.
10 seconds.
Y no le jueguen al querer ser, quieren programación de chinos, realmente la quieren, si a nosotros nos quieren echar, quieren chinos, quieren filipinos, realmente abran la oportunidad, denlos a las personas que estemos aquí y denla a las personas que también quieren hacer radio, como los filipinos, dennos tiempo y denles tiempo a las otras comunidades.
Sí.
I'm sorry, could we get that? Oh. So she's just basically saying, are you really serious about putting this whole issue that you want Asian programming on KPFK? Well, that's fine, but she's not against that. She's just saying that how are you putting that now on us as Spanish programming to fight for them? They have to come fight for themselves, just like we've been fighting for years to keep Spanish programming.
Yes.
My name is Jesus. I just want to say thank you everyone to be here supporting us. I do speak English, pero voy a hablar en español porque quiero que ustedes sepan lo que es para nosotros como latinos escuchar algo en inglés cuando no entendemos bien el idioma.
Eso.
Nada más quiero pedir, si lo quiere traducir, tradúzcalo para que sientan, para que sientan lo que es estar escuchando esto.
I speak English, but I will speak in Spanish because I want you to feel what it feels like for us, first generation people who don't speak English, to be listening to programming.
Así sonaría la radio, tendría que traer un traductor para estar escuchando programas en inglés en mi carro.
You know, having to have an interpreter with me in the car to be able to understand English language programming.
La pregunta es, ¿hace sentido para ustedes? ¿Les gustaría que todo fuera en español y ustedes traer un traductor en inglés?
Does that make sense to you? Would you like it for everything to be in Spanish and then you would have to have an interpreter with you?
10 seconds.
No piensen en ustedes, piensen en el resto de la comunidad que está aquí apoyando en español.
The rest of the community that is here, present.
I'm a programmer in KPFK and I've been participating for the past 3-4 years. I started with Insurgencia Femenina. I learned a lot. I have learned a lot. And trust me, lady, we do take our time. We do edit our programs. We learn. You took Leslie Radford out of here and she had her school. Where is the school now? Where am I going to learn? We have a school in Spanish. But where is the people in English that you're so concerned about? When are they going to learn to make more programs? Have you even taken time to make a program? Do you know how much it costs? Do you know how much my salary will be if I have to make a program twice a month? No, you don't have an idea. You focus in, oh my God, I'm going to see what is on the screen right now. How much money is it coming in? Because I have how many phone calls? It takes more than that. It takes a lot of heart.
10 seconds.
It takes a lot of mind. And you wanted to remove the programs? All of you wanted to remove the programs? Whoever is supporting that motion, please, come on. Take a break. Look at these people. Hablamos español, no hablamos inglés. Y si queremos hablar inglés, vamos a la pinche escuela y aprendemos.
Eso.
¿Ok? Pero aquí se habla español. This is fucking Mexifornia for you. For you, and for everybody. You speak Spanish. Shame on fucking you that you don't speak Spanish to us. Really, shame on the people who speak Spanish in here and just don't want to acknowledge it.
I would like to interject
really
here.
bad. I don't care.
Inappropriate to keep blaming Grace Aaron for opinions and positions that many of us take also. She's got the
And I'm going to again remind the audience to please be respectful of all of our members.
And the board.
And yes, it is impolite.
Una cosa que tienen que
70
saber,
seconds.
una cosa que tienen que saber, Aris Anagnos, el dueño de este lugar, donó como $130,000 para la radio, ¿right? Por apoyando nuestra programación en español. Aris Anagnos, the owner of this building, he donated over $130,000. You remember last year he came with that paper and he gave it to you and said, it's okay, you don't owe me anything. He was supporting our programming. And you know it, right? 160. $160,000. He donated, you know it, and you know it, and maybe you don't know because you wasn't here, you were not here. But it was $160,000 he donated. And he donates this place without any charge. And my friend over there, he's working and he's donating to us. He's Nicaragua. So cuando hablen de que no donamos, piensen. When Goodman was leaving, I asked her. I went to ask her, how do you know we didn't make that money?
10 seconds.
La respuesta es, I saw the paper on the wall. Well, she saw the papers on the wall, but she never went to the events that we did when we raised the money. That was the document, that was the argument he had in order to say that we don't make no money. She saw the papers, we were not there. We were doing events in the community. Gracias. So, you can present to me. Come on.
Can you bring that up now? Coming in from the I listen to 91.9 KPCR. That's a station just like this, but just in English. I stopped listening to it to listen to this one too because of the Spanish station. I listen to it because of my kids. I have my kids in the car. I want them to learn Spanish, not just English, but Spanish as well. So now that is being cutting off, and I hate listening to music. It's not educational. I like to listen to stuff that's educational. And music is not educational for my kids or for myself. And I just don't want this station to go away because I do listen to it. And I'm coming in from the Inland Empire. I have friends over there that I've had listening to it as well. Thank you.
Also, this will be the last one for public comments. Please go ahead.
I've been volunteering for KPFK for a very long time, since out of high school. I'm part of the Spanish Programming Association, and I also produce and work with English programs. I have donated my time for many years, as well as other people who have been at the station for 40 years, 30 years, 25 years. If you put that in an amount of money, you're in charge of finances, make that account for all of that. How much have we contributed along the time? We're not staff paid. We're not paid. We don't get paid. Okay, we donate our time, and we fulfill the mission of Pacifica without getting paid. We bring diversity, inclusion. We bring Mayan communities, Nahuatl communities, Zapote communities, Native American communities, and our programs in Spanish. Whereas the English programmers never do that. They never empower indigenous peoples and to give them the mic. They never do. If not, give me a list of names. And if you don't like coming here to the Peace Center, you can resign. You can go somewhere else. You know, we are the authority right here. The assembly, the people, in any democratic process, we are the people. We are the authority.
10 seconds.
Thank you.
Motion to extend. We have an item of business that we skipped over.
Chair,
we have, hold on. We have an item of business that we skipped over because of my oversight and negligence, so I have to come back to it. And that is the item on the agenda that was added to the agenda by Jan Goodman on scheduling a delegates assembly for approving the minutes of the closed session. So we need to schedule a closed delegates assembly for that. I'm sorry, Lawrence, you had a question, then Grace.
Yeah, is there going to be space for announcements? Because I know we traditionally did announcements. I have an announcement.
Yeah, we didn't have announcements on the agenda, but we have time for you to make announcements after we take care of this business, sure. Grace?
I move that we schedule a delegates assembly in closed session. I believe it would be a closed delegates assembly. Right before the LSP meeting here in July.
Okay, so we want to have a delegates assembly meeting before our LSB meeting? That's the
Whatever,
motion?
but whenever you.
What time? 10 o'clock?
Well, let's make it 10:30, and then the LSP meeting at 11.
Okay. Are there any objections to that motion?
I'd like the 10 to 10:30, keep 10:30 at the same time, and we come at half an hour.
Is that a friendly amendment?
Okay, sure.
Okay, so 10 o'clock for a closed session of the delegates assembly to consider approving minutes from our closed session meeting in April. Are there any objections to that meeting time and date?
When is the delegate session?
It will be at 10 o'clock here before our LSB meeting at 10:30.
When?
Third Sunday, July.
Third Sunday of July.
Thank you.
All right, so are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a point of personal privilege.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to thank the audience for being respectful of our meeting. We have disagreements, but at least there was dialogue. That's important. So thank you very much for not attempting to shut down the meeting, for allowing us to actually have a meeting. It's appreciated. And I'd also like to move to adjourn.
We have an announcement
announcement,
first,
sorry.
and then I'll entertain that motion. Yes.
I just got
you
a
want to
brief
make an
announcement, and I'm gonna mention both English and Spanish. Hoy en el aniversario junio 11 de la bandera de Puerto Rico, la bandera boricua.
Yeah. Viva Puerto Rico libre.
En 1892 la bandera se fundió con la bandera de Cuba. So today is the anniversary of the birth of the Puerto Rican flag back in 1883, along with the Cuban flag. And the significance of that is because there was a gag order in Puerto Rico where since 1940 up to 1956, Puerto Ricans cannot have a flag. Puerto Ricans cannot fly a flag. They cannot carry a flag. And this was due because of the U.S. imperialist government passing a gag rule 48. So I just want to honor that day today. I would have worn my flag, but I couldn't, the shirt was dirty. So I just wanted to honor that day today and to realize that today the flag of Puerto Rico flies in every Puerto Rican's heart. Mi bandera en mi corazón. Señor.
Yes, Grace.
Okay, there's a women's Ban the Bomb rally next Saturday morning from 9 to 11 at the corner of Hollywood and Highland. And it's being promoted by Women's International League for Peace and Freedom and other organizations. That's Ban the Bomb rally, June 17th, Saturday, 9 to 11 a.m. at the corner of Hollywood and Highland.
Can we come to?
Yes,
Men are
Lance.
invited as well.
Okay, thank you, Grace. Lance?
Mr. Chairman, at the risk of belaboring this very long meeting, which I think has been very instructive, most of you may know that I'm a relatively recent addition, so I need to be educated on a lot of things. It was a pretty extensive discussion, pretty animated discussion about this motion, which I need to get educated on. And I don't pretend that we should do that now, but I would like to ask that on the agenda for the next meeting, because I've got many questions about this motion.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what motion you're talking about.
The motion that has occupied the grand percentage of discussion here today. This motion on the 5 hours.
Yeah, I would suggest that,
I second that motion.
Well, I'm not making a motion. What I'm suggesting is the following. I don't want to do it here now because it's been a long day, but I would like for there to be time for, if no other person's benefit than this new member, I would like to have some questions answered on what the intent or the potential consequences, intended or otherwise, have been due to that motion. So I would like to have that put on next month's agenda.
Your request has been duly noted.
Maybe even in the closed section next month.
However you want to handle it is fine with me.
Your request has been duly noted. I think that the delegates assembly would be out of order, although I believe that the directors, it's a national matter, and I believe the directors should be able to explain that to you. It doesn't need to be during the meeting.
However you want to handle it is
Okay.
fine with me. I just
Okay.
have questions which I'd like to
Yeah,
answer.
I think that we can put you in contact with the directors that can answer your questions.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm ready to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second question.
Well, let's make a first.
First.
And second? No?
Second.
Second. Marlena?
Well, I had a question.
Go ahead.
Roberta had brought up the town hall, possible town hall.
Yeah, we approved that last meeting.
So we are having it?
We approved going forward with that
I
last
can
meeting.
give you an update.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so I have a motion, I have a second to adjourn. Anyone opposed?
Yes.
Hearing no opposition, meeting is adjourned.
At this point,
Thank you very much,
waiting to
everyone.
hear back from the hands there or- It's a good ring.
If you see how much the opposition